Welcome, everybody, to episode 108 of the Unpaid and Underrated Podcast, a podcast for crew, by crew, and relentlessly rocked.
Yeah, that's almost words.
Yeah, relentlessly rocked. That's
I
almost
was
like
like,
my last name.
where's
Relentless.
it? Where's he going with this M word and what the crew do to each other? Let's not go there.
Wow. Anyway, I'm joined by Big Keith, obviously, because of the
Howdy,
inappropriate jokes,
howdy, howdy.
and joined by Big Derek as well.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. Should we get it started? Anybody drinking anything they care to share?
Nothing fancy this week.
Yeah. I've just got a Waterloo, little
Ooh,
blackberry.
blackberry lemon. Very nice. Anybody wearing anything cool?
Just I'm wearing a Garage Gym Experiment shirt. It was there, and shout out to them getting the Garage Gym Radio, Silent or Nice Like Mike and Kyle Kaizen, one of the Kyle's crew. They interviewed Coop this week, so that was pretty cool. It was a pretty big get for him. So congrats, guys.
Ooh.
So I'm wearing their shirt.
And I see the squats tee over there.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Was going back and forth. I went with squats. I couldn't find the what's my Natural for Life is the one I'm liking right now.
Oh, that's a good
Yes,
one.
Just like that. Yeah, just like the blank, right?
me too. And I pulled it out of the things that don't fit anymore, and it still kind of fits. And I was like, no, I'm still gonna wear this.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
This will show it all off. All right, all right. You want to get right into last week's episode, Keith? Remind me what it was about.
Derek, remind us what it's about, buddy. I remember some of it.
You're talking about just the main cast, the trip
Yep.
through Ohio, the gym tour.
Yeah, that's the
Oh
one.
yeah. I was just
Yeah.
okay. So they just they did the blow by blow recap essentially of their travel. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
they almost missed the flight. That would have been horrible. They
Yeah.
you know it was pretty cool. They did a very good job kind of giving everybody they saw like at least like a 30 to 60 second kind of little like blip of without spoiling too much for the upcoming tours, and definitely gave a little teasing of some of the I'm very curious of what I think they said Kevin made something or yeah, built something that was like a product. It was like, oh, this would actually be a cool thing to have. So I'm curious what that is. I'm
Yeah.
anxious to see a couple of the home gym. Like I'm buddies with a lot of those guys, so it should be really, really like the longer this goes on and the longer we know each other and stuff. It's just like it's literally just watching tours of your buddies. It's not even like people you kind of sort of know. It's like people you really like. This is
Yeah.
my friend that I have had dinner with and hung out with on like a half dozen occasions. So it's really cool to see
Yep.
all our friends get their flowers, if you will, on some of these YouTube tours. So I think my favorite thing was when Tanner, when they were referencing R.I.P. Nate, and that it was Tom's buddy Nate, not Nate's buddy Tom. So that about broke me when I was watching that. I think I was driving actually because I don't think I actually maybe I was watching it Sunday night. I can't remember, but yeah, that was my good. So for all that, I will go ahead and give it 5 out of 5 Ohio's.
Which is still a negative rating. What do you got, Derek? Anything?
No better than a 4, Jeff.
No, I just kind of really, you summed it up really well. All the people that I've met through, Massonomics, it's, you said you develop friendships with people like from different states and whatnot. And yeah, it's just really cool seeing all their stuff, see them in the Discord, see them on the YouTube, hear them mentioned on the podcast. So yeah, I guess I'd have to just, all that being considered, probably give it 5 out of 5.
All right, all right. 5 out of 5. Tom's buddy Nate. That's really funny,
Yeah.
and especially after I put out the theory there
Mm-hmm.
about Nate not really existing anymore, and Tom killed him.
I mean,
And
is it a theory? I feel like our group chat now is just me and you going back and forth.
And we get some stock answers every once in a while. One day we should just say, what is it? Instructions unclear. Send something else. And see if Nate responds. But be careful, Keith, or not Keith, Kevin. If they put out the thing that you invented, Rogue's gonna steal it. So
Somebody
just
might.
just make sure that like you've got some patents going before that video is released, because I hear there's a big company out there that likes taking things and then putting it out there as their own. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that episode 5 out of 5 stolen patents.
There you go. Uh, so anyone near South Dakota this week? Anyone in the what probably call it? I would say South. So this is the May 17th. So this will already air, but so I guess there's no point of trying to get people to go out to it. So, but if
Yeah,
you if you are listening to this and you did not make it to the Build Fast Formula Throwdown in Watertown, you hope you're kicking yourself in the ass now because anytime crew get together and there's more than two or three of them, like, it's worth a couple hour drive. It really is. Like it's just
That's
fun.
mhm.
It's
that's this
so
week.
unless my January, February, March, April, yeah, we're in
Cool.
May and it's 17th. So
Wish I'd remembered that. All right, all right.
yeah, that it would be 2 days from now. So and when you're listening to this, it's in the past. Because just like big Grant over there on the OK podcast, we're coming from the future. But yeah, that should be awesome. That should always get a couple good videos too, even if it's just like the Massonomics vlog. Hopefully, that's one that one almost has to be a little more time sensitive. You would think because like seeing a blog from like that tour or that meetup like in August after Lift Hard Live Easy might not hit as good as it would as like a build up to Lift Hard. So I think that would be kind of a cool. It would be. I would challenge them to kind of make it their road to the Arnold video or road to the. Live hard, live easy, if you will. So that should be cool. Um, Someone that'll be there. Did you see what Mo had posted on Instagram a couple times? I think he had a story kind of for Zach specifically because it wasn't Zach that had talked about the leg extension that he doesn't like at the Massonomics gym. So Mo put a note on it for Tanner, and addressed it as Zach, and then he gave us a little Zach shower tour of the Massonomics gym shower, and someone I think called it out like there was a what was it? I can't remember what the was it
The
a
back
was it
the
a
back scrubber.
yeah, that's what it was. I was like, is that a communal back scrubber? And there seemed to be a shit ton of different body washes and stuff in there. So the fact that Zach is the only person that uses that shower, unless that's where people just like, unless I could see someone like at their house, they just have like an inch of soap left, and they're just like, oh, I'm gonna donate this to the Massonomics gym shower. Like I don't know. It's just like, well, how do you get so many random like half bottles? Like not even like I don't know. I just got a kick out of that. So. That was that. What else did we have? The Elite FTS video dropped today. That was a long one, so I know I watched it in the background with my GPS as I was driving. I don't know if Joey got a chance to watch any of it,
No, I worked
but
all day.
but it was good. I always like to see Tanner interview like people in their own space. It's kind of like that, like Dave getting interviewed in his own place is kind of cool, I guess. Like you don't see a lot of
Yeah.
people, I suppose. Like you're not going to go into someone's house, and I mean, I get like Dave. I've listened to Dave interview a ton of people, so getting the roles reversed on him, and there's just a home gym guy and a barbell connoisseur and everything. I kind of wish he had more answers on like specific barbells. Like when they was like, "What's your favorite barbell?" and he just like shows him all these like I don't know, like ones that didn't tickle my fancy at all. So I kind of was curious of like, well, what like power bars and squat bars and deadlift bars do you guys use there? That would have been the meat and potatoes that I would have liked to have gotten into. But all in all, it was a massive thing, and they were able to cram a pretty good gym tour into a short amount of time. So I enjoyed that.
I,
Did you get a chance to? Yep.
I started watching it honestly, and Saga came into the room and just started, Dad, 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 Dad. This is boring. This is boring. This is boring. Is that Tanner? Is that Tanner? This is boring. And I was like, I'm not watching this then. Like, I'm sorry I put it on. So no, I did not get a chance to watch it.
I've never heard that's like the most audible birth control I've ever had.
No, it's cute as hell because
I get
like
it. Well,
she know
for some.
both my kids know who Tanner is at least.
Yeah, I would dream.
Because he's got a very,
Yeah.
distinctive look to him.
Yeah.
Tommy, they don't see him as often, so it's Dad Tanner, boring, turn it off. And it's like, you know what? Fine.
I think that needs to. So that definitely has to be in the runner. In the category for episode title. Was it Tanner boring or something? What about you, Derek? Did you get a chance to watch any of it, bud?
No, I haven't. I listen to most of my podcasts. I don't really do much on YouTube, really.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a whole different monster.
Long form YouTube is
Yeah.
hard. Like for me,
Yeah.
For me, it's hard. Like if I'm gonna watch a movie, I'll watch a movie. If I'm gonna watch a TV show, I'll watch a TV show. The idea of anything over a 5 to 6 minute YouTube clip, I'm just like, that's not what YouTube's for.
Yeah, my ADD kicks in a little too hard. So
Yeah, yeah. I could be watching music videos. What am I watching this for? Yeah.
yeah, like God intended, watching old '90s music videos.
There you go. The last thing I had on general topics was I kind of just threw this in last minute because it was a couple of the crew.
I had a
Oh,
thing.
did I? Oh yeah, I missed that. Yep.
Like, how dare you?
Oh, you shut up. I'm going to bed.
How dare you?
Oh yeah, forgot that one. That's a whole thing. This is gonna be
Yeah,
a
I'm
minute.
pretty excited about that one. Do you want to do yours first? We'll finish with that one, or do you want like
Yeah,
which one do you
mine will
think
be
should go
yeah.
longer? Whichever one will go longer, do last.
Yeah, mine will be like a minute probably. So, a few people, specifically as Big Joe Lisa tonight was kind of asking like, "Hey, do you guys post your links to your podcast live so we can listen along?" And I told him I would send it to him, and I definitely forgot, but I'm not going to do that now because we're already too late. But that was just more of a kicking it around for a debate in person here with Joey of like, is there value for us to put it in the public Discord? Just for people to tune in if they're not really past guests, because currently outside of a couple episodes we've never done that, and I don't know that there's that many people that would want to listen, and also I don't know how much more work it adds for the host of the Zoom that has to mute everybody coming in
Yeah.
and kill the cameras, like because when I have a bunch of videos pop up on my screen it's annoying as shit, so I don't really know.
I mean, being the guy that has the new laptop and can actually control this kind of thing,
Fuck yeah.
having 30 people join for the 200th episode, um, 2 year episode, whatever,
200 episodes sounds good.
is like, it's a ton of work. Right. And there were times like you guys were ragging on me, like you didn't unmute him or you unmuted the wrong person. Like it just
Yeah,
becomes essentially that I'm not even paying attention anymore. So I don't think that it's a thing I'm that interested in.
that's what I figured we would. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I was leaning.
Especially unless like I mute all and turn off all videos. But then then I have to go through when do I kick them out to make sure
Hmm.
that they actually like tune in and increase our listenership and things
Yeah.
like that. Right. Like
Yeah.
I just
I
at
think
the
we're good the way.
moment, yeah,
It
you're
was
just,
more just
you're putting some.
someone point blank asked me today, and I was just kind of like, huh, maybe we could, but
I
like,
think the
it does
correct
seem
answer
like it,
is sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
yeah. And
Unpaid
Joe,
and underrated is wild like that.
yeah, and Big Joe, when you're listening to this, just you have to be a guest, and then you'll get in that private Discord, and then you can you know, see the links every week.
the
So I
the
guess.
private Discord that is slowly increasing to 100 people that are in the regular Discord and really isn't that private anymore.
So like, if we don't kick anyone out of our Discord, and like so in like 5 years, if somehow
Yeah.
enough people have left Massonomics Discord because Tanner kicks them out when their supporting membership runs dry, like ours could rise. Like theoretically, it wouldn't happen, but like mathematically, theoretically, like if we go on for 5 years and somehow their numbers plummet, but we don't kick anyone out that's not crew anymore, like we could have more people in our Discord, which would just be
I
stupid and not
I
not
brought
real
that
at
up
that point.
when we started this Discord is literally just the other Discord.
Yeah.
Like
But we
it's
don't. There's not a whole lot of talking in there. I mean, you guys have
no.
you have the wrestling channel, but like 90% of it is I invite someone new. There's going to be a guest in the next month or two. Like as soon as they're scheduled, they get an invite, and then like 20 people will welcome them with like
Yeah.
just an emoji, and that's about it. We don't really have like a much. There's not much Discord on our Discord really,
Yeah.
unless it's really good for show prep though. When we do roundtables and do show prep and stuff like that, and make sub channels for that's really good, but. I don't know.
Yeah.
Given the masses the link and having just people tune in for 30 seconds and just making all these windows pop open on the computer screen for Joey, I don't think it's worth it. So probably not,
Yeah.
guys. If there's 100 people that DM us and say we demand it, we'll think about it, but still probably ignore you.
Yeah. Well, I won't. I'm not on Instagram. Everything is Keith on Instagram. Especially if they say Keith here, by the way, then you know it's really Keith.
Tyler got me with that. I feel like to a couple people like shared something with, and I get that's like it takes me back sometimes. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, oh, fuckers. It's really funny.
Keith here, by the way, is still, yeah.
Um,
Um,
yep.
I've got a weird one, and I'll pose the question, and then I'll let you guys answer it, and then see if you guys have the same answers as me, because it did come from an actual conversation. Is Derek? I'll start with you. Is there a thing that you have just started saying, or like just something that's become natural to you, but only because of crew? Like a phrase or just something that is so naturalized because of crew that you expect the rest of the world to understand what it means.
I have to give that some thought. The first thing that comes to my mind, I don't know that it wasn't strictly because of crew, but it came back because of the podcast, is cool beans. You say
Mm,
that all the time as a kid, and kind of, hadn't really heard it in a while. I was like, oh yeah, and I do find myself saying that more and more unironically. Yeah. Without giving further thought, I'd say cool beans would be my answer.
Uh, I'll explain kind of where this comes from. There's two instances that um I was at work. Most of us know what I do by now. So we were just talking to people about traveling, okay? And these are just they're customers, but like we end up talking for let's say half an hour to 45 minutes sometimes. And they were talking about traveling to the US. And they were like, well, "Where do you go?" And I was like, "Oh, I go to South Dakota a lot." And when you're from this side of Canada, you don't go to South Dakota on purpose very often, right? And they're like, "Oh, for
Yeah.
Sturgis, right?" And I was like, I had to think, and I was like, No, not at all." And it was just so funny how nonchalantly I was like, "Oh, I just go to South Dakota a ton." Like, and it's only because of crew, right? I've been to Aberdeen now twice, Sioux Falls. Like, there's no other reason for me to go to someplace as far away and remote as South Dakota. Usually, if you're in Canada, you go to like Florida or California or like one of the southern states to get out of the cold. And I'm like, no, I just go to South Dakota a lot. And then the other one was Morgan talking to me about putting bird feeders out. And then I was like, well, Cody says that we should sanitize the bird feeders to make sure we don't spread disease, and don't put any hummingbird ones out because, they memorize their roots. And if you take it down, suddenly they might starve. And then I was like, I only know that because of crew.
Was it all? I thought, was it just hummingbird? Well, I guess it'd be all hummingbird. All bird feeders need sanitized, and specifically the
Yeah.
hummingbirds.
But
Was the one
hummingbird
about the
ones, if
route.
you put it
Yeah,
out the feeder, then they'll go back to the feeder. And if it's not
yeah,
there, they'll just die because they're stupid.
yeah.
Right?
I'm
Like
gonna
their
see.
brains are
I'm,
so tiny.
I'm seeing
Is
my
it? You think
parent.
it's just because their metabolism's so high, like they have to have a certain refuel stop? You think?
I can imagine that, but also like they're not going to
Yeah.
memorize where all their food is. They have to, they're little tiny dumb brains because they're hummingbirds. But I just thought that was funny that like I at that point I looked at her and I was like, what has crew given me? Like I have bird experts and rock experts, like lift, like I
Yeah.
have
Right.
all of these people that we just like nonchalantly talk about. But I do think where do you go? Oh, South Dakota to Sturgis. And then I almost said, what the hell is Sturgis? And then I remembered. And then I was like, what? No, I go to
Yeah.
Aberdeen. And they're like, where's Aberdeen? And I'm like, that's a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is beautiful out there. I was kind of skeptical my first time going through, but then, you get out there, especially in the summertime.
Mhm.
And, obviously, you haven't been there in the winter, but yeah, just, nice skies, nice lakes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you
And
get
the
to put
western part, like
mosquitoes.
when you go into like towards Sturgis, man, that is like great motorcycle riding. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
We might get in that a little bit later when we get the
hidden
guest
gem.
on the horn. My answer basically, I don't think I've ever heard the word like druthers. I don't think I've ever heard until listening to the like I really don't think like I had to Google it to see if it was a real word at one point because I'm like this
Uh,
can't be a real like how have I like lived to be like in my late 30s and never heard this word before, and then but then it's like that thing like until you hear it the first time and like really know it's a thing like I do hear it not necessarily in casual conversation like. I think I've heard it on a couple other podcasts, maybe, and then like maybe in a TV show. But like, I definitely hear I've heard it in pop culture like less than 5 times, like ever,
mhm.
outside of Massonomics. Uh, so Druthers would be the top of my list. I asked Stephanie her answer for what things that I said, and she kind of answered for herself. And she's like, "Well, I don't really know what you say," but she says "silly goose" now a fair amount, just like at
Mhm.
work and stuff. She did mention "Hay is in the barn." That's one I had never heard of. And then I guess I'll close on one that like is mainly from our podcast, but just asking people about if they have any good poop stories or like just the concept of a quotation mark good poop story. So like I don't know, we're not the first ones to do
Yeah.
it. It's still like it's not something I thought I would regularly say or ask or have brought up. But yeah,
I also I don't want to take credit for it, but I do think Shaboot has definitely made its way
Shaboot.
into a lot of people's lives.
Uh,
Based,
the term Keith Head or Keith's Head, like
yeah,
that's Like that's not what people would have thought it meant a couple of years ago.
Check out my Keith head. Like everybody
Yeah, I
shows
was
up with
like,
like a
wait, what?
different version of it.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
my
But even
decapit.
my kids say Shaboot now, and like
That's
that's
funny. That is.
Those Keith Head signs were clutch at the lift station. Those
yeah.
were awesome.
I have mine here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're nice.
This is also where I take my my work calls and interviews from, and it's very funny because they'll be like at the end of it, like the interviewer will leave or like some important people will leave, and then somebody will go, Joey, who is that on your wall behind you? And I'm just
You
like,
don't you don't
oh
blur your
no.
background. You
I
don't blur
know
your
you I
background
do,
for
but because I'm
personal
so close
calls.
to it,
Oh, it thinks it's another head. I could see.
yeah. So
Yeah,
like
that's just
I'll lean in and it'll
That's
unblur. And people are
really
like, who's
funny.
that? And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I have time to explain this.
Yeah, the Zoom backgrounds and Zoom blur is the best thing.
Yeah.
The only negative, I guess, is I wish it did better because I've been lately I've been trying to turn the light off completely in the room I record in, but it definitely like with me using a background, it makes me disappear a lot more often. But having a dark room is much better than having a bright room.
yeah.
All right, I think that rounds out the majority. Derek, I know you're a big social media guy. I always see you out there on the not really, but you think there's any,
Yeah.
you think there's anything we missed in Massonomics world or lifting culture or anything like that we missed?
Um. Well, the one thing I would say that I've seen a lot of lately is Big Matt's mostly squat videos reels. He seems to have a lot of fun with his lasers in the gym.
Oh yeah,
I've been
yeah.
tuning, I've been yeah
He
tuning into
I
that. See what he comes up with next.
I feel like that's he's always got a new laser he's pulling out of his butt somewhere. Like he had like his whole contraption. It's like I don't know. And I think he actually
Yeah.
I think my favorite post about it was when he actually had to turn him off and get some work done because it was too distracting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Even I get sick
Yeah.
of the
It's
lasers.
super distracting.
I just
Yeah.
I think I
It's hot
Yeah.
as it's hot as the Dickens in this room. I'll be back in a second. I'm just gonna go and open a window.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, as far as Matt's laser, like I I couldn't do anything like in a 7 foot basement to have any kind of light show like that. It would just be like in your eye. Like you almost have
Yeah.
to have the extra height, or you're just like it's just obnoxious as all get out. I think. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely
That
saw some
looks
other like
cool.
so now World's Strongest Man's kicked off. By the time this is airing, it's probably over. I'm guessing, and then I did the IPF had extended the knee sleeve ban.
Shocking.
Yeah, they're
Oh.
letting. Well, no, extended is in I guess withheld.
Yeah, they
They're
withdrew it. Yeah.
yeah, they're
Oh, we're Drew.
allowing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're going to allow the stiff sleeves outside of the Hanzu ones because they're like having beef with them and through the end of 2026. So for I don't think anyone in crew except maybe Jose
Yeah.
Is an IPF lifter, and he just switched over to Powerlifting America. I think the majority of anybody else is either going to be untested divisions or USAPL, which doesn't really follow the IPF anymore. So not super relevant, but I did watch a little Basement Brandon video on it, and I was just like, it's so funny, like the amount of drama and all these sub niches
Yeah.
that we're in. It's just like there's drama in everything. There's home gym drama, there's powerlifting drama, there's strongman drama. There's so much drama in every niche. It's wild.
And what do I call that?
The human spheres.
Bozo shit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
There you go.
I'm so mad about the IPF sleeves. Oh, do you compete in IPF? No. Oh, do you wear stiff sleeves? No. Then what are you mad about? It's the principle. It the fuck is not. Get out of here, bozo.
I have said it's the principle to a handle of things at
Yeah, oh, that's
times, for
bozo
sure.
shit. If you're mad on somebody else's behalf, it's bozo shit.
It's not entirely inaccurate, I guess. Big Derek, do you have a Massonomic sponsor, or do you want to hit us with boss?
Sure. I just have a very short one. Kind of try and keep it pithy. Massonomics, lifting podcast about nothing. When you're here, you're big. It's a podcast where lifters of all strengths and sizes gather to cheer each other on, pick up some heavy water cooler talk.
That's
Massonomics, when you're here, you're big.
that's fair. That's fair. Very very quick and to the point. We like it. We'll take it.
I'm very concerned that our podcast is heavy water cooler talk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I figure, heavy, like play, just play on the
Yeah.
weights essentially, right? But then someone else in the Discord did post that the other day. I thought, yeah, it really is kind of like your water cooler talk. Take a
Yeah.
break. And
Yeah,
at least you get to control the conversation a little bit, right? Choose what channel you're going to dive into, whether it's the food or the get strong, stay strong.
Use your strength.
Yeah.
All right. Should we get our guest on the horn?
Yeah, let's kick all those listeners out.
Shit, I haven't even checked. Do we have any?
I did end up sending.
Are we
Joe
recording? Like, what are we doing?
I did end up. I God, I fucking better be. I did end up sending Joe the link on Instagram. So if he pops in, let him watch. But we'll see.
All right, Big Derek, is that you?
Hey, how's it going? That's me.
Hey,
Howdy,
it's
howdy.
going great. Was that an Island Reef water drink koozie you got there?
Oh, nope. This one is actually not Massonomics. Got my Massonomics one over there.
Yeah.
This is a buddy's baby shower.
I picked
Oh,
up
I
that
like
reference.
that one. The lime green one's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the lifting department one, but
Yep.
yours does look Island Reef if I'm
Yeah.
being honest.
It is a nice color.
It's a mint color, some might say.
Yeah.
So, let's start with who are you? Give us your Instagram, give us your Discord.
Oh gosh. Let's see. Instagram at DMachine and Discord on Big Mr. the Law. Yeah, my name's Derek. Firefighter in Virginia. Not much. I don't know. What are you looking for specifically?
That was it. Just like
Yeah.
if somebody's listening and they're going, "Who the hell is this guy?" Like, how are they going to tie you
Yeah.
to who you are in Discord or
Yeah.
whatever goes
Yeah.
on there, right?
Yeah.
I-
If you see the badge icon that has Judge Dredd, that was my back when I gamed a lot. I would be the Law, which was which would be Judge Dredd, and then yeah, so that was kind of my handle. I picked it over from.
That makes more sense because, like, I knew you were in, a first responder, but then it's like, wait, is he not a firefighter? Like, is he like, is this,
Yeah.
is this like, is this a cop thing, like Mr. the Law? But like, I'm so confused. But now that it's like a video game and a Judge
Yeah,
Dredd,
because Judge
Got
Dredd
it.
is the
Yeah.
law.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And there's also a nice tie-in with this old show called Video Game High School. And one of the main characters in there was also the Law. So it was like this great double entendre.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about Judge Dredd a lot, but we'll move on.
Yeah, dude, Carl Urban's Judge Dredd.
Right? I've watched
Yeah.
it so many times. I finally ended up buying it because I was like, okay, I got to stop hoping it's on streaming. Like a very obvious homage to the Raid,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like the entire concept of the tower.
Was that Jackie Chan or is that Jet Li with the Raid? Which one was that?
None of them actually, and I couldn't tell you any of the guys' names. I just know the one guy is in it. That was
Dude,
in.
my buddy Kyle's gonna be. Was it not from Bach? Fuck, my buddy
No,
Kyle's
yeah,
so
it wasn't. It wasn't Tony Jaa. No, it was a relatively, from North American standards, unheard of guy.
Yeah.
Which is weird because there was a lot of famous Americans in it, including Cersei Lannister. She was in it. Carl
Mhm.
Urban was in it. The one guy that was in it, I wish I could remember his name because he's amazing in everything he's been in. He was also in, bear with me while I think about it, Boy Kills World. That one. He's the feral looking guy. He's really short and he has like no teeth and long hair and a mustache. Like he's in everything. He's awesome. But yeah. So anyway, Carl Urban's Judge Dredd. I hate to say it, is easily better than Sylvester Stallone's Judge Dredd.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to be honest about it.
Yeah, I got to be honest. So what brought you to Massonomics?
I was really just looking for a different podcast to listen to. I think the first episode I ever listened to was it was either the one where they interviewed Rip or the one where they interviewed Ed Cohn, like one of those early ones. And so I just kind of, then, once I subscribed to the feed, you pick up a couple. I would say my big involvement though with Massonomics probably came when I don't know if you remember, they had the billboard thing going where they said, "Hey, come get a picture in front of our billboard. We'll give you a T-shirt." Obviously, it's a huge joke because no one's going to go to Aberdeen just to do that, right? I was like, I wonder if I could swing that on a trip someday. And that was kind of the beginning of that thought. And yeah.
Yeah, you went on your motorcycle, didn't you?
Yeah. So I had a friend. So my friend out in Colorado was getting married. So I had plenty of time off, and so I just took some extra time, kind of planned a motorcycle trip. So from East Coast, from East Coast of Virginia through West Virginia, all the way through the Central States, up, and basically decided to take a little detour, go to South Dakota. Which obviously, that's not a little detour, right? But
yeah,
so
from
I got
Colorado,
up there.
isn't that like 11 hours or something from Colorado? It's something.
Let's see. It took me it took me like 2 or 3 more days of riding after I left South Dakota to get to Colorado. I was going to Winter Park, so yeah, it's a long ride for sure. It was worth it.
And
Um,
you did that pre any lift like that was I'm gonna guess that was like 2021, 2022.
yeah, I think it was 21.
Yeah, it was
I
like
should
it
probably
was
remember
at
that
least a
too.
year or two prior to any
It,
lift hard because it was like who the
it,
fuck like you were like you were
yeah,
like the only like no one else had gone to South Dakota like no one else had been to the gym except like Jack and Homeless or something like
yeah,
there wasn't like known people that have like traveled into the gym very often.
yeah. It was the year. I think it was the year before the first lift hard, live
Yeah, so
easy.
it'd be 22 then I
And
guess. And that's fair.
yeah, yeah. And then actually, it's funny you bring that up too, because like while I was on that trip, the episode where the first, I think it was a Canadian visitor dropped in. So they had like one drop in before me. So like
Oh,
as
cool.
I'm doing that, I'm planning this trip for like months. I'm like, cool, I'm going to be the first one to do this. And I,
And then
get there, and I was the
and
second
then you're
one by like
second.
a week.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. And actually talking, so I got the chance to talk to Tanner that day and just, kind of hanging out in the parking lot shooting the shit. Gave me like the Taco John's recommendation, some, stupid shit like that. But it was a lot of fun. And it was almost like I would have thought I went to high school with him kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And so that was what kind of convinced me, hey, next year for the Lift Hard Live Easy, I'll come back. And then it's really interesting because almost everyone you meet is some version of that. Like, you're
Yeah.
strangers, but you kind of feel like you've known each other for a long time.
Oh yeah. No, that's awesome, man. That was
Yeah.
that probably made it easier to want to come back for all the other stuff too, and like to make the trip to the Arnold and everything. Just like
Oh,
knowing
for
all
sure.
these good experience, like not having a bad experience yet. Basically, it's but that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've remembered that. Like I was like 90% sure that was you that did the bike trip, but I don't think it showed up in our
It
notes anywhere.
it didn't, and I remembered it halfway
But
through
I
the
was like, but I'm like,
conversation.
I was like, this has, it's got to be him. I don't think it's anybody else. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
good stuff.
Well, there are so many people in the Discord too. It is hard to
Oh
keep track of
God, yeah.
It's a very active Discord.
And
it. Yeah,
your Instagram not being like super vocal with well you've definitely been posting a lot more like lifting shit in the last couple months it seems like before it was just like posts that didn't have your face in it like at all and I'm like who
yeah.
is this the guy that I met in Aberdeen or not? I'm so confused on who the fuck this is.
Yeah, I'm really bad with social media like that. I tend to just post pictures of stuff that I see and do,
Hmm.
and I almost always forget to take pictures of myself and post those. So I've been trying after. So I flew out to a punk rock show with Big Toby, kind of hang out with him. That was the second time I hung out with him or whatever. And he, I don't know, he's always posting those videos of him lifting and looking strong, and I was like, maybe I should do that too. I don't know, participate a little bit, but yeah, that's kind of the thought. Keeps me a little more honest with skipping workouts too.
So that's what the big Toby trip like what you weren't already out there for like family or anything like you specifically went out to go watch a show and then just got some lifts in.
Actually, probably the genesis of that was whatever was going on in the Discord around music. I said, him and I trade pop punk memes all the time. I was like, hey, we should totally make a crew like a Discord list for like these are our top pop punk songs to listen to for lifting. So we did that. And that was a lot of fun, kind of doing that project back and forth. And then I just one day scrolling saw that the I forget what it was called, but it was basically Bad Religion and Pennywise playing out right near him. So I was like, hey man, you want to go see the show? And that was kind of that. So yeah, flew out there, got a couple lifts in, saw the show, did some hiking, that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Like, is
Yeah,
that how hard of a sell is that to like your family and stuff to be like, I'm gonna, I mean, I guess, now you've already done the lift hard and everything, but like, just
yeah,
I'm gonna go hang out with my internet buddy but it's also someone you've met like four
yeah,
times in
yeah,
person now. So we're not really our internet buddies anymore. We just like, we still see each other in person. So, but no,
yeah.
that's awesome. That's a great
That,
story.
that's that's probably the hardest dynamic to explain. Is like, yeah, I mean, I know him from the Discord, but really, like like with Toby, like I saw him in South Dakota. Now I've met his family and that kind of stuff. So it is more like friends and family than it is strangers. But as far as telling my family, I like to say I'm single income, still a kid. So I just gotta go and do it. Make sure Rocky's okay with it.
Good stuff.
I do find if I need to explain something to Morgan and I put big in front of their name, it
Uh-huh.
immediately changes the dynamic of the conversation,
That's smart.
right? If I was like, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to this other city to hang out with so and so, she'd be like, why, who, what, where? But if I was like, oh, I'm going to hang out with big so and so, she'd be like, oh, it's from the Discord. Yeah, I don't care. Like it would completely. When we went to Creed in back in last summer, I think, and I was like, oh, I've got to go meet this lady I've been texting or whatever. And Morgan was like, what? And I was like, oh, it's
What?
Big Cam's wife. He can't make it. She's like, oh yeah, that's fine. Right? Like as soon as you can position the big and she knows it's from the Discord, the conversation's completely different. She completely trusts
Right.
it. Do you have a Hall of Fame status?
Yeah, I looked it up. Let's see. I am at this will get me 10.
Whoa,
Um,
getting close.
yeah,
Well, that's getting
yeah,
there.
yeah. I've been chipping away at the back catalog. That's one that's like, it's low hanging fruit, but
That's
yeah,
the hardest. For me, it's the hardest one because I already
yeah.
won the contest. But for me, that's the hardest one because some of those episodes are
And
hard to
I
get.
just listen to so many other podcasts. It's like it's hard to fit it in. It's like
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
But
I have one I'm listening to right now as much as I can, and then between the weekly episode of Massonomics, I try and fit in the back catalog. But it's
right.
like this isn't relevant. This was 8 years ago,
Yeah,
and
it's so not relevant.
right, like
Yeah, it
I
is funny hearing some of the like the genesis of some of those inside jokes and stuff. So that is the cool part. Every now
yeah.
and then you get a nugget.
I appreciate that, but then also where it's like it's the draft for the first strongman showdown. I was like, oh my god. Okay, I'm listening.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, number 10. Few away from your cup, but not very far. What's your supporting membership number?
Oh, 108.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
beat Keith? Are you beating Keith?
No, I'm in the double digits, I think. I don't know. I'm like 20 behind you or something.
Very good.
All my stuff's downstairs.
Nice.
I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I need to just put it on a spreadsheet, so then I'll be able to bring that up. And when people ask me, I was like, oh, I
You
don't remember.
definitely don't have enough spreadsheets, that's for sure.
I need a spreadsheets are good stuff. Um, so Big Derek, did you give us was there a timeline on when you started listening to Massonomics? I don't know if I missed that or not. I know how you got into it, but
Um, yeah. Oh, it was probably about a year before I did the trip, so it would have been like 21 or
okay,
somewhere in there.
that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. Actually, it was probably took me about a year to even put a face to a name kind of thing. You listen to the podcast for so long, and then
Oh
one
yeah,
day,
Who's Tanner? Who's Tommy? Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I'll test Stephanie sometimes when they're both on the
yeah,
screen, and she's like 80% she'll get it now, but every now and then she'll be like just confused because like Tanner changed like he does like not cutting like he's changed a lot how he looks because like he's been like 280 pounds, he's been 220 pounds, he's had long hair, he's had fairly short hair, he's had a wild man beard, he's had a close cropped beard, like even 2 or 3 years
yeah,
ago he doesn't look like what he looks like wild, vastly different. So and if like all she sees is the random like YouTube stream that I'll watch on Sunday night, and over the last like several years, she's like, it's hard for her to keep up sometimes. But yeah,
yeah.
the putting the names to faces, it's good stuff.
Well, yeah, I guess I kind of meant I
Oh,
should have said voices to faces. Sorry. I know what you're saying too there, but I
oh
just meant
yeah,
like
that too.
yeah, I listened to it for so long, and I watched on
I see what you
YouTube. I
mean.
was like, oh, huh, I didn't picture that.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That makes it. Yeah, yours
Tamara,
makes more sense.
Tamara and Tawny.
Yeah, Tonner. Yeah, she says.
yeah,
We all say Tonner in this house a lot.
yeah, because they
That's a
both
big
got the
one.
golden locks or had them. Yeah.
Uh, uh, so you've been around long enough. You've probably seen a lot of stuff. What's that one piece that you see other people flaunting around and you didn't get a chance to buy it?
Oh man, it's got to be the Buddy Light.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
to be that. Yeah, that what a perfect meme mashup of like lifting culture, beer drinking, and just the spirit of Massonomics. That'd probably be the one piece of Massonomic stuff. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
But for you,
same.
do you guys have a I don't know, unicorn? I guess.
I I think I've answered it a few times, and I'm sure my answer always changes. But today specifically,
Uh,
Tanner wearing that red, like maroon slash red brick, whatever you want to call it, lift shirt looked so fucking
uh,
awesome. Like that looked like I want that shirt so bad. I was like
Yeah.
a red like OG Lift shirt would be awesome, but I still think like I still don't know why they don't just do their actual logo, like the big M on the chest, like the full OG logo, like that I would buy, and I think
You
people
go
would rock
Superman
that.
style with
Yeah, like
it.
I think, but I don't know, but I think it's one of those things. Maybe they're just like it'll
Yeah.
only sell to like 100 people in Discord, and that's it.
Yeah,
And like
I
there's no,
don't think that one
Yeah.
would have mass appeal, but the same
yeah,
argument could be made for like
might have massonomics appeal.
the college. What's the one, the script that they had?
Varsity.
Varsity script. Yeah,
I,
like that one also you think would not, but it did.
yeah. You know, now that you say that, I had one of those maroon varsity scripts and I love that shirt and I don't know
Mhm.
what happened to it. So I wish I had that one back actually.
There you go. It's a good answer.
Yeah.
Are you certified? Is your home gym certified? Do you have a home gym?
I have a home gym.
Mhm.
It is certified. Was fortunate to pass that test a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I've been a little lazy posting my pictures to Discord, or not to Discord, to the send them to Tanner to
Oh yeah,
mail.
he's been calling people out. You're never gonna get a they're never gonna find
I
you on the view of the
know.
world if you don't get those in. I really think there's a lot of people that
Yeah,
don't actually have that updated because like I really love that like segment they do, but like you can
yeah,
tell
same.
they're clicking on like 10 gyms to fucking find one asshole that actually submitted pictures. So it's like
I
if you're
almost
listening to this, submit your damn pictures.
I almost don't want them
Right.
to pick mine because I don't want to hear Tommy go, I'm not getting strong in that tiny ass gym.
Yeah,
like it's
Hmm.
literally a squat rack and a bunch of barbells. Like there's nothing in my gym.
yeah,
I keep
yeah.
like, I want to get mentioned, but don't pick mine, don't pick mine, don't pick mine.
Yeah, yeah. Mine's pretty bare bones as well. Mostly, I just have like too many skateboard parts out there. So I'm like, once I put all this shit away, then I can, uh,
Finally get
yeah, throw
strong.
some photos in there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Finally get strong.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to do next, Keith?
Oh, okay, with a least fun, most fun. Big Derek, I know you haven't listened to a ton of episodes, so I'm gonna have to in-depth
Mhm.
explain this one so we don't have a little snafu here.
It'll
So
go right this time.
the game, least fun, most fun. I'm gonna give you a single topic, and you're gonna give me two answers. One for the least fun thing about the topic, and one for the most fun thing about the topic.
You got it
You can
right.
do you can do a, short explanation or use your druthers, go on for a while, but it's not an either other. It's a both. So least fun, most fun. The starting strength
Okay.
method. Training the starting strength method, being a member of
Oh,
starting strength, etc.
yeah.
Whatever your affiliation with starting strength is. What's the worst and the best thing about it? Least fun, most fun.
Hmm. Let's see. Most fun is definitely just the rapid progression. With the what I appreciated about it was the kind of the scientific way they approach teaching all the lifts and breaking down the movement patterns. And so that rapid progression, when you really kind of know what the goal is and how to kind of fix a target and progress through, that's definitely the most fun for me. Because before that, I think like a lot of us, we do a lot of or did a lot of just like random whatever we saw on pump and iron or whatever, right? So yeah, that's definitely most fun. Least fun, um, is it drinking a gallon of milk a day?
Yeah, go mad. That would be
Yeah,
really bad. That would be the worst. Like, it's supposed to
I
be
did it.
it's supposed to be whole milk too, I think, which is
Yeah,
God, that sounds
I,
horrendous.
I didn't quite do that, but I probably downed like 3/4 of a gallon of whole milk a day when I
Ugh.
was doing starting strength. And it really wasn't bad, although since then I don't tolerate milk as much as I did back then. So I think I
Hmm.
kind of ruined myself on it. I don't know. Yeah.
Now is this?
You know what?
Yep.
I guess if I would just put one asterisk there,
Yeah, yeah.
I would say that like, I've done two starting strength seminars, and those were a lot of fun. So I guess maybe similar as like meeting those people, but also
Okay.
like least fun. It was not as inclusive as it was like meeting Massonomics folks. Yeah,
I mean, you mean Rip wasn't a inviting, warm presence? Like, did
yeah,
you, so I know you're not big on,
yeah,
but like, it looks like Mofo, and unless he was just fucking with people, in one of the channels, he made it look like he was at that gym. I don't know if it was real or not. I didn't read that much
yeah.
into it.
Wichita Falls. Yeah.
Yeah, there was like a
It,
whole, he like reenacted a whole dialogue that he had with Rip, and I'm just like, I
yeah.
assumed it was fake, but maybe did Aaron randomly go to starting strength thing in the middle of the
Right.
country? I'm assuming he didn't. Um,
I will say it's like, and like I say that in like I don't mean for it to all sound negative because I do like that like style to some degree, right? To me, it kind
mhm.
of reminds me of like Bill Belichick. It's like, man, the guy's kind of a dick, but he's really right, so I got no choice. And yeah. So anyway,
Good. Well, we did it. At least most fun went off without a hitch.
Got him.
Yes, sir.
Got him. Does Mark Rippon have any friends? Like
I'm sure he has all the friends that he wants, you know.
that. Oh my God, that is the most diplomatic answer I think I've ever heard.
Well done. That was
Again,
good.
I like him. I think he's a good coach and all that kind of stuff. It's
Yeah,
just that gruff manner. Same thing with Belichick. That doesn't win you any favors in the press, right?
yeah, it's
So
off. It's definitely off-putting for sure.
yeah.
Uh,
Off-putting.
what?
I was the it was a the
Were you
what
trying to
was it?
make a milk joke?
No, there was a Zach Galifianakis thing where like him and Scarlett, I think what's it, Scarlett, not Scarlett, Jennifer Lawrence were like mocking each other or something, and there was like he said something about off-putting, and like she was basically just calling him fat the whole time, and she's like, "You're off-putting. You should be off-putting, you fat fuck." So that's, but if you haven't seen that clip, then it's not relevant or
Yeah,
funny. But I explained
it's
it
a good
poorly
fun bit.
enough that one of the Davids can explain it to everybody else better.
That's from Between Two Ferns.
Yeah, that was the joke. That was the show I was trying to reference.
Yep, I was just helping you out. All right, so same question. I've been going on now for a couple weeks. You're about to go for a big lift. Doesn't matter what lift it is. It's just a big one. You can
Mhm.
choose one person as your hype person. Who is that person?
Ooh, hmm. Man, that's tough.
Living, dead, current, uncurrent. What's uncurrent? Discurrent? I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna have to go a little bit off the wall here. I'm gonna go with Euripides. He's a one of the podcasts I listen to. He is a ancient Greek playwright.
Mm-hmm.
He is just known for a lot of like I guess whenever the I don't know if it was like Library of Alexandria, but whenever like a large portion of works were lost, basically they recovered up to like the alphabet, like up through E or something. And so there's like some like huge gap in like how we have all these like different playwrights, right? But Euripides in particular just wrote a lot of like famous plays, and he was very good at chronicling those Greek myths, right? So I feel like he had some really good narrative, like storytelling things. So not only could he be there, observe it, hype me up, but then later on, go forth and tell people of the deed.
And who's his voice in your head? What's it similar
Oh
to?
gosh, I'm sure he just sounds like some generic like Greek Plato actor. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
imagining that guy that gets hit in the head a lot on his Instagrams.
uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah,
God, if I could remember his name or not, but like he's talking and the thing hits in his head and he just goes, Jesus fucking Christ. He's just got this like
yeah,
deep, deep voice. That's what I'm picturing that voice to be like.
yeah,
Hit me
yeah.
right in the head. Didn't even see it coming.
Yeah, I don't know that I really hear like any like voices like that. Like when I go get like hyped up for a lift, mostly it's just like listening to really loud music and kind of feeling that emotion come up.
Mm.
And I don't know that like I've ever tried to put a face to anything like that. But yeah,
What do
It's a
you?
hard question on purpose, right? It is one of
yeah,
those ones because some people want to name like their best friend, right?
yeah,
Like I think when I first answered it, I said Dodds, right? Like I'd love Dodds to be
hmm,
screaming at me to go and do something. Uh,
absolutely.
Originally, I'll be honest with you, that was supposed to be a little bit of a different thing where it was like, who is somebody that would hype you up? And then I want
Uh-huh.
to know who is the person that could say the same things but piss you off, right? So like, you know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean that. Yeah, that would
uh,
definitely be like my best friend then. Yeah.
yeah, like a
Kyle.
prime
Yeah.
example, like Dodds screaming at me,
Not that he
telling
pisses me off though, but yeah.
no, I like if Dodds is screaming at me, telling me to go do a lift, okay,
Uh huh.
and then Keith is right next to him repeating what he says, it would piss me off. I'd be like, Keith, shut up. Like you
Yeah.
don't get to talk to me like that. Dodds does, and not an
Oh, I see what you're saying.
example. Not to say like Keith is a negative in my life or anything like that, but it would just be like one of those like
Yeah.
how you view how different people interact with you in your life and stuff like that, right? I do think that
Sure.
ultimately I expect that question to grow a little more in that way. Um,
Yeah. I see. Yeah. I see. I see kind of what you're teasing out there too. Um. Yeah. It's tough because stuff like that. Like I don't know. Like as long as it's coming from a good place, there's not a whole lot people can say to really, I don't know, piss me off in that manner. So I see what you're
right.
saying.
But
Yeah.
like my little girl yelling "Go Daddy"
Yeah.
would be
Uh-huh.
very
Yeah,
different
yeah.
than, Hannah yelling "Go Daddy." I'd be like, the fuck is that? Like that would be a completely different
Not
conversation.
in public.
Like it would just be completely different, right? So
Do you usually train alone, Derek, out in that garage gym of yours?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I traded in my old. I had like an old Nautilus squat cage.
Mm-hmm.
I traded that in for a yoke, like a
Oh,
Y2
no.
rack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Partly from Big Scance's recommendations, but partly because that way I could like the old Nautilus was so hard to just like configure stuff. It just took a lot of
Mm-hmm.
time, and I've got it down to a pretty good kind of science now, where I can actually set up like a squat and a bench on the same, like on opposite sides.
Oh, yeah,
And for
yeah,
me,
because you're
it's
high. Yeah, just have an extra pair of J cups. You're good to go. That's easy.
exactly, and it all worked out with my leverages and my arm lengths and stuff, so it just saves time.
Nice.
Yeah, so
I love it. So when you were out in Arizona, no, was it Arizona or New Mexico? I always
yeah, yeah,
forget where. When you were out with Toby, like,
yeah.
was that one of the first times recently, I guess, that you've actually like trained with a training partner kind of thing, and like had someone motivating you and in your ear?
Not really. I would back in the day, me and my buddy Kyle, we went to high school together. Known him since 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And so we, as we are getting into like senior year, we saw like bodybuilding forums and
Mm-hmm.
pump and iron, that kind of stuff. So we would work out in his dad's. His dad had a home gym that was basically in this little shed. So him and I would work out pretty much every day after school. We went to the first year of college together. We started applying to the fire department together. So we just kind of naturally lined up our schedules and trained probably for, I don't know if you call it training. We exercised for 2 years
Yeah.
or
No,
so.
no programming. You just like benched 4 days a week.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was right around when CrossFit was starting to get big. So we, like, what's CrossFit? I don't know. Let's just do like 300 push-ups. And, you
Ugh.
try to do 300 push-ups in a row, you find out real quick, like, hey, once you hit your limit on push-ups, there are no more push-ups to get, right?
Yeah, that sounds
So we
horrible on
just
my
did
my
dumb stuff
pecs.
like that. Yeah.
Stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Well, you had just mentioned what you do for a living, so you want to elaborate on that with any? We allow people to talk as little or as much as they want about their jobs. Some people find like they get kindred spirit friendships out of that with other people, and other people just don't
Sure.
want to talk. So entirely up to
Man, I could talk forever about my job. I just, I love what I do. So uh, it might, I could elaborate on pretty much anything, but I need maybe a topic, something to narrow it down.
Oh yeah, no, I was just more like, so you are a firefighter, but there's like different level. Like,
Yeah.
do what is your title or whatever, or where how far
Okay.
up are you? Or
I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a firefighter. I've been with the city for 17 years,
oh wow,
a little bit more now. I was an EMT before that, got hired on, got joined the fire department. Also, I'm also a paramedic. I've come to the rank of captain. So for us, that's like a frontline supervisor. So
okay,
when the fire truck is going down the road, there's usually 3 or 4 people on it in most like metropolitan kind of cities. The person in that front right seat. So you got the driver, the person sitting next to the driver is the captain usually. So for the crew, really all I do is just try and make sure our tactics and stuff are coordinated on the
hmm
same page, do the radio comms, do that kind of stuff. But mostly, everyone, it's kind of like, it's not the Marines, but it's kind of like that where everyone's a firefighter first. So I really like engine work. If you picture just a fire truck going down the street, if it doesn't have a giant ladder on top of it, you would typically call that a fire engine.
hmm
They bring the hose and the water and put the fire out. And then the ladder truck has the giant ladder on the top, and they go in, they do search and utilities, and watch the real men do work. So
Nice. I do have a couple. I reached out to a few firefighter friends of mine just for some firefighting specific questions. So we can go into a couple of these, and if they all fall flat,
sure.
we'll just move right through them. But one of my buddies, local East Ave gym guy here, crew adjacent, if you will, just wanted to know, just firehouse pranks. Was there any like
Hmm.
one or two pranks or anything that like is safe to talk about on air that just stand out to you?
Oh man, yeah, so many. Fortunately, all the pranks that I have seen and been around, I'll just give my disclaimer, have been very PC and safe for work because it's always, flowering people's pillows and that kind of stuff. I would say, going most recent, I recently worked an overtime shift and I found this little like cricket noisemaker just randomly makes noise. and I just went ahead and put that up in the ceiling of the captain's bunk so that I'm not going to be back there for months. So that battery should last a good while.
Oh,
Um,
so that was at a different house, you're saying, because you were filling in.
yeah,
I got you.
yeah. So yeah, I'm assigned to
That's a
admin
dick.
right now. Yes, yeah.
Mm, that's funny.
Let's see. So that same station, I actually used to work at that particular station as a firefighter. One of the best pranks I saw. This will be two, and I'll give one more for the last one. Um, the other crew came over and set up a little cup of paper so that when you opened up the cabinet to get your coffee cup out, it just dumps flour on top of you, right? So my captain, his name's Mark Maples. He went up, he opened the cabinet, dumped flour. I said, "God dang it, because guys from 11 got me." So he goes and changes, gets a coffee cup, goes over to where the actual coffee pot is. He opened the top of that one to get some like the sugar or something out, dump flour all over top of him again. He's like, "God damn it, I'm out of uniform."
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really
Um,
funny.
and the last one is just the trick with the stink sprayer, right? You just tape up the stink sprayer
Oh, yeah,
and
Yeah.
with Scotch tape. So
yeah,
one of the guys at our station, when at my first station 9, his name was Chuck Smith. He was always doing the pranks, right? And so I kind of caught on that if I just slip, if I see him do one, and later on, if I just do the same thing he did, people would blame him for the prank, you know. So I would periodically just like, oh yeah, it's time to do a sink sprayer, and then get someone, Chuck, God damn it.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Nice.
very much the lighthearted kind of teasing each other, very much a part of the firehouse culture.
Nice. Another follow up on that is just how does your work schedule or how does your work schedule affect your training? Like, are you having to train like in the middle of the night sometimes, or are you able to get sessions in at the firehouse? Or
Back when I was like training real seriously, which was like probably 2014 to 2016, 17 timeframe, I basically the way it works out with my schedule. I can train only on my off days every other day, and I would do my fives. I would do just a nice starting strength linear progression, and just do every other day. Um, so that was kind of that. The main thing is like the sleep. Like I've always been at busy stations running 15 to 20 calls a shift, somewhere in there on the low end, maybe in the 10 to 12 range. But so trying to get sleep and recover and then get up the next day and still want to actually lift. That was the tough part back then.
yeah, I imagine.
Anything I do at work, I really don't count. Like I'll do like cardio, stretching, ice bath, recovery type stuff at work just to kind of, do something. But
Well, I do have a couple more, but I'm probably just going to end on this one. Have you been thanked for your service today?
uh, let's
And
see. No,
is that
I don't
something
think I
that
have.
firefighters get annoyed by?
Um, it's hard to say we get annoyed by it. I think the better way to phrase it is a lot of times we feel it's unwarranted,
Okay.
like here we are doing something we love with, people we love or some of our best friends. And we generally have a really good time most days. And when people thank us for our service, like, well, we're getting paid to do this and we're doing what we love. So it almost feels like we shouldn't be getting, that. But yeah, always appreciative of folks that say hi.
Nice. It was a very diplomatic answer. Because in my show note, I had a couple different
Yeah.
firefighters say like, "We hate this."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I drink the Kool-Aid a little bit. Like I said, I'm up in admin now, so you can pencil it in for that, I guess. But sometimes you never know, like the next time that person's going to interface with a fire truck. We've actually like, we would make a point when I was at the ocean front. We'd make a point to like hand out stickers and stuff. We go down to the so at the ocean front, there's a long strip we call like the strip or the boardwalk, lots of foot traffic. And part of the perks of being at the ocean front is you go down there and just kind of take in the ambiance and the sights and all that kind of stuff. So we'd go down there, get ice cream. PD is going to say, of course they do, right? But so we go down there, they give us some free ice cream, and we just hand out stickers,
Those
take
Narcan
photos
boys.
with people. Yeah, yeah.
So you
So
said
yeah, we welcome it to some degree. Yeah,
you
the
said
Narcan boys, dude.
The
They
Narcan
got the
boys.
Narcan, and they go forth and they prosper.
Yep, Big Toby checking in.
That's
So you
right.
said you said you've been in for 17 years and you recently transitioned to an admin. So is that kind of like, does that give you more career longevity at that point, or are you trying to do your 20 and like how's that? I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
is it present like? I mean, is it set up to where you can kind of do 20 and actually retire, or do you got to like be a go at it for longer than that?
In my case, I have to go 28 years. So
Okay.
it's 50 years of age and 25 years of service.
Okay.
Is yeah, it's not really for the longevity. It's I've had a lot of different assignments through my career. Been on busy engines predominantly. Did a little bit on the ladder. Don't tell anyone. And then 2 tours and training. And I've picked up a lot of like admin type skills from doing that. And long story short, I guess our department is accredited, which means outside party comes in, checks out what do we do, how do we do it, how do we do what we say we do, and how do we make it better, right? So that's accreditation. And so doing that kind of stuff has opened some doors for me just to see a different side of the fire department. So I wouldn't say it's for longevity, but it's just I have a lot of like varied interests, and my ADD kind of keeps me going. So it's fun to be able to kind of see other areas of the department that I wouldn't otherwise be able to see just riding on the engine, which is definitely the best position in the fire department, being on the engine, putting out the fire. But yeah.
Cool stuff. Cool stuff. What do you got for him, Joey?
If you had to give up one or the other, would you give up snowboarding or skateboarding?
Oh gosh. Ooh, I don't think this is considered. I don't think this would be considered riding the line. Right now, I would have to give up snowboarding. I would have to give up snowboarding because my dog Rocky loves skateboarding. He's going to be 14 here pretty soon. So yeah, I would have to keep skateboarding at least until later on down the road, and then I might have to switch back to snowboarding. It's tough though because I do genuinely love snowboarding more than skateboarding. Just being in the mountains, it's a great time. Well, and like Keith, you're in Rochester. Is that kind of mountainous up there or no?
There are mountain areas in New York, but not necessarily Rochester. Like you got to go to the Adirondacks, or there's another range too. There's like two different areas where it is very mountainous, but they're all like at least like an hour to 3 hours from here.
Is that like more east, I guess, or?
So there's some like big skiing stuff. I guess it would be southwest, but then there's also a lot of stuff east.
Okay, I gotcha. Actually, speaking of accreditation in Rochester and Canada, actually, where's St. Catharines in relation to you, Joey? St. Catharines, Ontario? Or am I in the wrong province?
Nope. You're very close. I'm just trying to remember which direction it is. It's relatively close, and I mean like 45 minutes or so close. Yeah, it's right near Niagara Falls.
Okay, yeah. So that's like in my new position, they're sending me to a conference up there called Metro Fire Planners. So I accidentally double booked myself. That's the same weekend as the Riot Fest. So my plan currently is to go to the Riot Fest and then book it over to St. Catharines for the Metro Fire Planners conference. But yeah, I'll be up in y'all's kind of because I know like Rochester's kind. I'm not super good with geography there.
Yeah, if you're near Niagara Falls, you're like 90 minutes from me, give or take.
Yeah, you're 45 minutes from me. No, he's probably about 2.5 hours away from you at St. Catharines.
Oh yeah, but I mean, yeah, I was referencing Niagara Falls specifically, but yeah. Depending on how he's coming.
Hey, I mean, shoot me the dates if I'm around. Sure. I'll come down. Like it's not that far at all. It's very, very close actually.
Yeah, they said I think one of the events is like a dinner, like it. There's there's like socials every night, that kind of thing. So one of the dinners is supposed to be at Niagara Falls, so it's got to be right in there.
Yeah, Niagara Falls is actually a little farther away than St. Catharines. So Niagara Falls, and then you've got Niagara on the Lake, then St. Catharines, and then you essentially have like Grimsby, Stony Creek, and then my city, right? And they're all within 45 minutes to an hour of each other down the same highway.
Cool.
So then tell me about the time that you decided to skate on the back ramp of Fire Station 11.
Yeah. Oh man. So Fire Station 11, I already said that's the oceanfront station, right? Parking at the oceanfront is notoriously bad. So most firefighters, if we're going down to the oceanfront, we'll park at the back ramp of the fire station, plenty of parking available. And then, just kind of mosey on up and do whatever we're going to do. So I would do that and like just skate down to the oceanfront. There's some breweries, boardwalk. Good buddy Paul Moore lives down there. So anyway, on the way back, I'd done all the skating, no problems. On the way back, there was like a rock or something. And you know what it was? I think it was actually just hitting the molding coming into the bay, the little lip coming into the apparatus bay. Yeah, I hit that like too slow, basically. Too slow, too square, and just ate it. Yeah, right. Oh, sorry, I buried the lead. At the time, everyone from the station from the other shift was all out like on the back ramp.
Look at this dumbass.
Yeah. So not only did I just wipe out, and I was like, man, I didn't wipe out at all today. Not only do I wipe out and eat it, but I do it in front of the entire shift. So yeah, that was great.
Nailed it.
At least there were some paramedics there to help you if you hurt yourself too bad.
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah,
afraid of
yeah.
losing teeth on something like that. Like you gotta,
Sir,
if you,
are you
you,
lost? Yeah, go ahead, sorry. You said you'd be afraid of losing teeth?
yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
not having that kind of control and just losing it. You're like breaking an elbow, breaking a wrist, landing right on your
Yeah.
face. Like I don't know. I mean, I guess if you just fall
Well,
on your ass, that's one thing. But then like if you don't have your helmet on, you're concussed and brain dead.
yeah.
It's always the
Yeah.
worst case scenario for you, man.
Well,
Well,
shit happens.
Like I'm skateboarding and I fell. What if you got brain dead? Like, gee, relax, man. He didn't.
well,
He's good.
so I mean, there's always that hazard, right? I will say, one, you have to learn how to fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But two, you're not wrong. I don't know if well, so I went snowboarding one time. I'm a decent snowboarding and snowboarder. I lost my edge. Long story short, I lost my edge and was off the side of the mountain, hit a tree, dislocated my shoulder. And that was very much a chill day. I wasn't going real fast or anything. So, kind of to Keith's point, you never know when that
Ugh.
edge is going to catch you and shake
Now,
things.
now, when you dislocated the shoulder, did you have the lethal weapon moment where Mel Gibson just smashes his arm against the wall to pop it back in, or is that just like that's not a thing, right? Like you have to have a
Yeah.
doctor or someone like trained to actually pop it in and like pull it and shit. You can't just like smash your arm against the wall.
I wish I could have done that. Mostly, I was like dazed and confused. This very nice gentleman stopped at the top of the hill. I'm just kind of looking up towards the slope, and I said, "Hey, are you all right?" And he kept asking, like, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" I was like, "Hey, man, I just need a second. I just went through some shit here." And so he was super cool. He kind of helped me walk out towards the trail, got on the ski lift. Ski patrol just kind of rode up with me and controlled the lift. And when I got to the ski shack, they tried to set it, but long story short, it didn't work,
Hmm.
and it probably made it worse, but it's hard to say. I was there with another firefighter buddy, so went and found him. There's like no cell reception up there, so I finally found him, and then he got my car, drove me down to the hospital. They set it in the hospital, or in the ER rather. But the funny thing there was, so I've actually injured myself quite a bit. All right, so I broke my leg, I dislocated my. Both times when the doctors were giving me pain meds, they were like, "Oh wow, your pain tolerance is really high." I was like, "Man, it'd be really cool if people would stop telling me that."
It's like I'm dying on the inside. I'm just not letting you see it, you
Yeah.
fucks.
Yeah, yeah, and with the shoulder, again, the doc was great, and the Dilaudid definitely helped. But after the second dose, I was like, "Hey, I really don't think it's going to feel any better until it just goes back in. So whatever we got to do that. Let's just do that."
hmm
Mm.
Now, I mean, in the old days, instead of medication, you would do a shot of whiskey, and I
Right.
understand that that was your first choice was a straight up shot of whiskey the first time you drank alcohol. Tell me what was going through your mind about that.
That's bold.
Gosh, I might not even remember that. That must have been I can tell you what was going through my mind. That must have been either at Keegan's in town center or at Busch Garden. So at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, they have like a wine tasting event. So I don't remember if it was there or not. I can tell you what was going through my head though. I love John Wayne movies and like
hmm
cowboy movies in general. And like, what does Clint Eastwood drink? What does John Wayne drink? Dang whiskey, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it says here is that you've never had an ounce of whiskey or an ounce of alcohol in your life, and you decided a straight shot of whiskey because that's what the Duke drinks was your
That's right.
mindset there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
You said you broke your leg. How'd you do that?
Um, well, first of all, the police did it.
Fucking fucking
It was a
Toby.
fire versus police. Yeah, Big Toby. It was a fire versus police charity game. We're playing football, basketball, kickball, and ultimate frisbee. So in the football, you're allowed to kind of block on the line. So I'm just basically pushing against a dude. Another good buddy, Dave Mitchell. He coaches football. You think he'd be a little bit better blocker, but basically he lost his block and dumped his dude onto my leg. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Oh,
But
geez.
no, in all seriousness, yeah. So the guy just kind of fell in the back of my leg, and gave me what's called a spiral fracture. So basically, I had like 6 breaks in the tibia, and then also broke the fibia as well. So that the hospital that did my surgery is literally right next door. It's like within 5 minutes by ambulance to that hospital. and I guess they get a lot of customers from the field house. So I was one of their customers that day. A buddy rode the call in, and he was like, he gave me a little bit of pain meds. But the interesting thing there, I guess maybe it's not interesting, but when I got to the ER, of course they have to do an X-ray. Everyone knows it's broken. They had splinted it for me. When they took me to the X-ray, they undid the splint and they lifted my ankle so that the plate could go underneath, so they take the X-ray. When they lifted my ankle, the rest of my leg didn't move, and I was like, "Oh, I knew it was broken, but now it's really broken."
What'd you
What'd you
do?
It worked before you broke it.
Yeah, it was not pretty. So they basically, I went to surgery that night. They put a rod in, basically kind of arrange all the pieces on the rod and just let it all heal together. And the surgeon, actually, I would say it's. Have you guys seen Bullet Train? Bullet Train?
Yeah, was that the
It was Brad Pitt.
yeah. I saw that a couple years ago. Yeah.
I feel like this might be like the case of like lucky, unlucky kind of thing, because I'm unlucky in having these accidents, but I was really fortunate to have a good doctor kind of put me back together there, but with both surgeries. But yeah, so still got the rod in there and bionic leg, all that kind of stuff.
Are you competing at the Lift Hard Live Easy?
Yeah. Signed up for powerlifting this year.
So there you go.
Yeah, really.
Everybody's competing against an android. Yep.
That's right.
Got a bionic leg.
Who has more nuts and bolts in their legs, you or big Steve Ross? What is his I can't think of his handle.
He's from up like Massachusetts.
Waffle
or
Iron,
Vermont, right?
Yeah,
Waffle Iron. Yeah.
His story
Definitely.
was the most as bad as yours was. This still doesn't like
No.
his visualizations of how broken and exposed his bones were. I was like, I still cringe at that one. So
his was like a snowmobile accident, right?
Yeah. He ran over. He ran over his leg with a snowmobile or something, I believe.
Yeah, definitely.
That was... so you did go. Were you at Lift Hard Live Easy 1 just as a fan then?
I was. I got in. I got in way too late. I never used to be very active on the Discord, so I just missed the open sign up. I was waitlisted, and then now knowing that I probably could have jumped in, maybe I would have done it different. But I had already set my mind on going, and even when they said I was waitlisted, it's like, I'm still gonna go. So yeah, I was there for 1, and then participated in 2, and coming back for 3.
Oh, nice. Okay. So was that your first? Have you done other powerlifting meets, or was that your first last summer?
I've done others. The very first one was actually it was a deadlift only in York, Pennsylvania.
Cool.
For that was the Can-Am Canadian American Games.
Did you meet Big Eddie?
No, this was like way pre. This was like pre. I didn't even know about Massonomics. Yeah, like 2014, I think. Yeah. So I did a pull only. That was kind of cool at York Barbell. The next year I did
that is pretty cool.
Yeah, like you get to see like all the. You guys are big into like the vintage weights and stuff. So.
Yeah, I need to make the trip to York at some point. But like I hear it's just like it's not really what it should be. Like as like the museum, like it hasn't been updated in like 20 years, kind of thing. Like they have all this shit in storage that they could put out. Just like from what vintage weights Rob PGH has said, and it's just like it could be really. It's still cool, but it could be a lot cooler, kind of thing. So it's like, but I will make the journey down there someday for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, you get the feeling that it's definitely not the prize thing, right? But it was fun to kind of walk around after the meet or whatever. But so then from there, I did a push pull, another Can-Am game. That was 2015, and did a couple local meets, that kind of thing. So I've probably done 5 or 6 meets now.
Nice. Yeah. Well, how's you can be the first one to give people your road to the Lift Hard Live Easy 2. How's training going? What are you looking? What do you think you're gonna hit? Like you think you're everything on track where you want to be?
I'm just seeing where the wind takes me, I guess. I feel like training's going real well. Like my shoulder feels great, feels nice and stable. That took like over a year before that really felt like
benching and like I don't know what would be worse, benching or like because squatting low bar. Like I hope you've invested in SSB and some type of bow bar at this point because God that sounds brutal.
It was after the surgery. It took me probably 8 or 9 months before I did an actual like back squat again. At our training center gym, we have a safety squat bar, so that was clutch doing that. Although I wish I had known the safety squat bar wasn't 45. What it's like 75
Six,
pounds or something.
most of them are going to be 60. Like the Elite FTS SS yoke is 65 pounds. A lot of people try to
Okay.
copy that, but the weights are going to be like, I think Rogues is 70 and like Titans might be
Okay.
like 60 or 58 or something. But I know that like the Pride and Joy, the Elite FTS one's 65. So there's definitely not a 45-pound bar for sure. So
Right. I think
you thought you were undershooting and you were really hitting 20 pounds,
yeah.
potentially 20 pounds
Yeah.
more. That's
Yeah,
funny.
exactly. I put the two plates on. I'm like, God, even warming up is feeling hard, man. It's just
Yeah,
like a
two
mental thing, obviously. Yeah, but
I've seen two plates on like, so I had a buddy who can squat 500, maybe not five, mid fours, and the first time he used an SSB he loaded two plates on it and he didn't get pinned, but he about got pinned, and he's a very strong
yeah,
guy. He just had never used an SSB before. So yeah,
yeah.
that was funny. Sorry to interrupt you.
There's definitely something about that technique. Yeah. Yeah. But I spent a lot of time working on the mobility. So yeah, I'm feeling strong. My best ever squat in a competition was 485, which was actually kind of funny because it was a misload. They had 2.5 pound collars that they weren't counting
Mm.
on their load chart or whatever. But which is cool because I grinded it out and I was like, man, if I had done that rep for 475, which is what I had called, or 470, whatever I had called, if I had done that, I was like, I wouldn't have called another one. So 45, 518 was my best deadlift, and like 275, I think, was my best bench. So if I
Nice.
could hit, I feel like if I could hit all three of those, just put it all together for one meet, that would
Yeah,
be awesome. So
yeah, the nothing better than a total PR, like,
yeah,
that's the end goal, at the end of the day, if you don't hit the total is what you're
yeah,
judged on. So no, that'd be cool. It'd be good to see you there.
yeah, yeah. I'm
You
looking
know,
forward to it. It's always that really is the highlight. Just in really, the meet is the one thing, and such a fun meet, and especially with the two stages and all that they had going last year. But
mhm.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, after
Oh, you're
party
getting in.
Saturday and
You're
Sunday.
getting in. You're getting in
Yeah,
Wednesday. That's. I'm not getting in that early, but we'll get in
yeah,
Thursday night.
yeah,
But no, that's
yeah.
good
But
stuff.
just I mean, like the whole week of
Yeah,
events,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thursday
It
on.
is.
Yeah,
It is great. It is. The build up is the best. But it's like for me, I just like I hope I can. I kind of want to like challenge myself to drink more than like a beer on Thursday. Like have like two or three beers on Thursday. Like let loose a little
yeah,
bit. It's like I don't. But it's like I drink so sparingly now. It's just like I don't
yeah.
want to be half hungover all day. But also it's like if I had a couple more
Right.
beers, would I be more chipper and like chatty? Like it's kind of that double edged sword of like which which
Yeah.
which one is a better experience overall. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely advocate anyone that isn't signed up or hasn't come out to one of these big meetups yet. Like, what are you waiting on?
It really is the best way because then, like for me, again, wasn't a big Discord person until after doing one of the meets, because then I could recognize and put some faces to names and whatnot in the Discord.
Hmm.
And I'm with you there too, though, because like last thing that I would really want to do, like especially Friday, Tanner's party is fun, but even though it's not a serious meet, I just really don't want to go into a meet a little hungover or anything like that, right? So I'm
Yeah.
with you there.
Me and Big Matt, we were up drinking till like 1 o'clock that night, and then still went in
Yeah,
for weigh-ins.
That
yeah,
sounds horrible.
yeah. I mean, the crew are crazy, man.
No,
Yeah,
it is
like
wild, and like
yeah,
I kind of
the whole
regret it, but
section.
at the same, because like would I have added a couple pounds to my total? But that's not why I was there, right? So
Right.
you're right. You're looking at the two differences, and like, what are you here
Yeah.
for? Are you here to set a total, or are you here to have fun and also compete? And everybody's got a different mindset. And I heard
I,
you've been dabbling into strongman a little bit.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
And actually, just to kind of one last comment, I think that's the best point there. As long as you're having fun, whatever it is,
yeah,
like if it's hanging, drinking, if it's lifting, whatever, I think Massonomics does a good job where the lift hard is equally as important as the live easy, right?
yeah,
Very much so. It's a good
yeah.
tagline.
It's funny that you guys are talking PRs because I even realized today when I posted that thing the other day about doing strongman now versus powerlifting for 5 years.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't tell you what my one rep max is right now, and I couldn't
Hmm.
tell you the last
Mhm.
time I hit a PR, and I don't care.
Right.
And to me, that's just so wild because like I used to
Mm.
be so hyper focused on it,
Right.
and now you're
Yeah.
just like I don't know, and I don't care, and I don't care that I don't know. And I the one day I did some flat bench, and I did my opener at the lift hard live easy for a triple, an
Hmm.
easy triple. And
Yeah.
you're and like I distinctly remember racking the weight and going, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, where'd that
Like,
come from?
because I was just like,
Yeah,
where did that come from? Because I saw the weight and I was like, I'll try, sure, Juggernaut. Like, let's see what I can do. And I
right.
smoked it, right? And so, yeah, it's a very different concept of you know, of what your attempts are, what you're planning to do, and whether or not you want to stay up drinking with Matt till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Do not recommend.
That's something I've noticed too. Kind of, talking about the strongman stuff. A lot of what I've been doing is just I've cut back a lot on like total number of reps. I was like, man, I still love my fives, right?
Hmm.
I'm doing a lot of technique practice, and I'm really just kind of wearing myself out and causing like some spine problems and stuff. So what I've liked about the strongman is it kind of forces you to brace in some of those awkward positions, and when you find stuff that's tight, you start mobilizing that a little bit. And yeah, so I just think as a total package, like doing some of those other planes of motion has been great for the strongman, especially the overhead stuff. Surprisingly enough, it was
Yep.
great on the shoulders.
Oh yeah,
So
that's gonna help you for sure.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the overhead press supremacy right now. Um,
yeah,
I didn't do it
yeah.
for
The
years
press,
because
the log,
Juggernaut doesn't let you. Juggernaut's like bench only and bench accessories. And then you
right?
go to strongman, you do overhead press, and then like once every 3 weeks, it tells you to flat bench, and your flat bench just goes flying, and you're like, "What
Yeah,
is that about?" But it's because
yeah,
in powerlifting, overhead's unheard of.
yeah. And,
But
and you think about like just like first, and this goes back to like the starting strength stuff, right? Like first principles, like the more muscle you can recruit in those things, the better off it is, right?
mhm.
That's why the squat's king and the deadlift puts so much tension on the body. And then the press, like, yeah, if you could only do bench or standing press, the standing press is the one that gets the most on the whole system, right?
Yep. And then there's the old joke too that like every strongman can be a powerlifter, but no powerlifter can be a strongman too, right? Like
Hmm.
I've heard that
Yeah.
before, and at first I was like, yeah, I see it, but like now that I've done both, I go, I really see it, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah. So just like the raw, like, and that's the other thing, like the raw strength that some of those strongmen have, or that really anyone who's doing strongman has, the ability to just kind of move kegs around and that kind of stuff. But then
mhm.
you also just think about the cardiovascular, like you do a heavy yoke or carry or anything like that. We're talking 20-second bouts, 30-second bouts, whereas in powerlifting, what are we doing? What's a grinder? It might be 4 seconds or 5 seconds or something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and put it
So
up and
yeah,
put it down. Whereas a strongman, I'm
yeah,
like, I'm gonna pick this rock up and do laps, right? Like
yeah,
it's just so
yeah,
different.
yeah. It's athleticism with the weights.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get in trouble now. All the powerlifters on the Discord are gonna come
I
after
had
I
us.
love
to
it. I love it
I
all.
could do
Hey, here's the best
strongman. I
thing
could do
about
it.
I had to run with a
the best
keg
thing about the
last week. That
strongman.
was brutal.
What was that?
I had to run with a keg last weekend. That was brutal. It's the first time I've
Oh,
ever, like I've loaded a keg a few times. I've never to like just pick one up and like run with it
uh-huh.
and like,
Yeah,
load it, do a steeplechase with it basically. It was unpleasant.
yeah,
But Big Dan, fellow crew members, hooking me up with some kegs. I think for my birthday this summer, he's got some empty kegs or maybe some partially filled ones that his commercial gym is downsizing from. So he said at least one or two he's going to bring out to me when I see him here next month. So that'll be a new addition to the garage gym.
I can appreciate kegs and sandbags and atlas stones, but I do think natural stone lifting is a different beast. And
yeah,
I don't think anybody that's done it would disagree because like
Astron's head, how he feels about natural stone lifting.
yeah, but I mean it's a very good example. If I had 100 pound sandbag over my head, it's a uniform weight. If I had 100 pound keg over my head, it's a uniform weight. Suddenly you got this rock that's like weighted on one side and sharp, right?
yeah,
Like, if I have 100 pound rock, which I do, and I have 100 pound sandbag and I go to do the sandbag around my yard, the sandbag's easier, but you get that rock in your hands and suddenly like you're kind of leaning to the right. It's digging into you and you've got the road
yeah,
rash, right? Like, oh, I've even thought about buying wrist guards just to do that so I don't go to work and be like, hi, nice to meet you. And I'm just covered in scrapes and burns and shit.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely something about those odd objects. Again, like you're bracing in weird ways and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
For a keg, do you guys prefer? Like, I have a keg and I've just filled it with a little bit of water. It's not super heavy, but I find the water is kind of fun to play around with because it's so unstable.
Hmm.
Yep.
Sloshing kind of forces that.
It's
So what are
it's
your
the
opinions?
tsunami bars of kegs.
I haven't
Yeah,
used one with
yeah,
water
yeah,
yet.
kinda.
The ones that I've used at the gym, I could tell some had sand and then some had like fucking like large pieces of gravel. Like
Pea
they
gravel.
had
Pea
no
gravel.
this they had one that was it was it was 457 pounds or something, I think. That was, or maybe it was a 405,
Holy shit.
but it was a monster. So like big Chris Mark, he was able to he's carried it like a X amount of feet, and he's also got it over the bar from like a dead stop, like just the load.
Oh
But
my god.
he was trying to do the full the like put them both together last weekend, and I felt so bad for him because he was so gassed and couldn't do it. But I was like, dude, you just fucking like bear hugged and carried a 400-pound keg,
Yeah.
and like
You
I
just
mean,
carried my
Yeah.
deadlift max. Like, thank you.
yeah, but like I
Who
think
did you say that was?
my buddy Chris Mark, he's a local he's a
Okay.
fellow crew in Rochester. Like Rochester,
Okay.
it's like we're like the hotbed of crew. I think we got like three guys,
The
three or
hotbed.
hotbed,
Yeah.
all three of
Yeah.
us.
There's three
Well,
of
no, it is
us.
cool though, because like there's three of us, but we also like are in the same gym periodically, which is kind of cool. And
Yeah.
then
That is cool.
we got like six others within like a 3 hour radius.
That you
Seven
never
or
visit, and one doesn't exist.
so they're out
I
there.
wonder what I wonder which gym has the most crew in it that's not Massonomic.
Probably Los Campeones.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know who else is actually a member there other than Colton. So now there's a lot of like I don't think Grayson, because that's on the whole other side of town for Grayson and stuff. So I know he doesn't train
Hmm.
there. And
Right. Because I'm thinking it's probably I don't know. I was thinking maybe Sioux Falls might have a bunch more, but like I would imagine if you have three, four, five somewhere in that range, that might be a top.
yeah, I'd imagine.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that's a question to put out there
Yeah,
when this is released. I mean,
let us
Yeah.
Tanner
know.
probably knows the answer, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's three. Like I don't have I have a punch card, which is essentially a membership. Like I am on their email list as a member because I spent like
Yeah.
$150 on like a 10 week or a 10 time punch card, and actually got to buy a new one soon. And then the
Yeah.
other guys are like full blown members, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you got such a nice gym at your house that
Yes,
like
sir.
yeah.
yeah, going there is just yeah to change it up a little bit. I imagine.
Yep. And I
I
mean,
think that would be a hard question to answer because you're all home gym nerds,
yeah,
Right.
yeah. If
right?
you're
Like
talking like public gym, it's harder. But
Yeah.
maybe that one that Lou goes to.
I would
There's a
yeah,
lot of dudes in
like
there.
oh yeah, because
yeah.
him and one of the Matts train there.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Matt
I mean,
works
I would
there,
count
doesn't
it even if it's just like three crew that are regularly showing up at the same house kind of thing, you know? Yeah, I don't know that has to be necessarily a gym per se, but it's just like
That's
larger
prob
scattered,
that's
he?
larger
probably
That's
perfect,
consuming
little
gathering.
sweeties. That's
Yeah,
probably perfect, little
yeah.
sweeties.
sweet.
I
Okay,
don't
yeah.
know. That's probably no wine cellar if you ask me.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
I
know.
didn't.
I
I think
think
there's
you're
gonna
in
be
the
like
running for
I think there's
sure.
gonna be like six crew here, or at least five crew here on my birthday. So that's up there.
Yeah, that's coming up in June, right?
Yes, sir. Yep, June 14th. Anyone,
Awesome.
anyone that's in the neighborhood or wants to make the trip, in the lovely
Start.
state of up, in New York, head on over.
Should we move on to a game?
Yeah, I'm gonna hit him with a little FMK. Big Derek. I hear you're a Marvel fan, so I
Okay.
picked a couple Marvel characters here for you, and I want you to FMK them. So FMK, Iron Man, the Hulk, Captain America. FMK, Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America.
Hmm.
We hear you are a
Um.
comic connoisseur.
I. Uh, I mean, I think my friends would probably say I am, but one of my good buddies, Ricky, he puts me to shame with his comic book knowledge. So I'd have to defer that. But let's see. I'm definitely going to marry Captain America. Um, we are going to F Iron Man, and we are going to kill off the. Just
Mm,
way too
mm.
unpredictable with the Hulk. You know, just can't have that all that kind of chaos in the life. So
It's
yeah,
pretty chaotic.
Captain America for sure. That's who you take home, and Iron Man because like now you are the arm candy for the billionaire playboy philanthropist. Like you get
And
to go
we're
everywhere. You get your own iron. You get your own suit at one point. Like yeah, a lot of
and
fringe benefits there.
and we're Steve Rogers, Captain America, not the Falcon slash
Yeah, Sam
Captain
Wilson.
America.
Yeah,
Yeah, Good guy, but
You know,
it's just hard. I
yeah,
watched that a couple weeks ago. It was not a great movie.
and
I won't
it
even
was
watch
it
it.
was objectively a bad movie.
Yeah.
And I actually, yeah, I like Sam Wilson's character. I like the angles that you could be using for Sam Wilson. Some really
Mhm.
compelling stories there. And it's like, man, did you guys just turn this over to the worst writers you could find? Like, why is this movie so bad?
Yep, it's like it's people making movies that don't read the comics. That's what it comes down to, right? And
Which, like, yeah, and with as much money that goes into a movie, like they know there's the nerds out there, there's the Russo brothers, there's all these people that have great ideas. You think they would just be like, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll just go hire one of those people to help us out, be our technical advisor. But
and no.
yeah,
Actually, there was a movie recently that I watched. I think it was called Havoc. It was it that it's that one with
yes. Was that with Tom Hardy? That wasn't
yeah,
that one, was it?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
the
was
one.
Oh
bad.
yeah, it's on my
I
watch list. That's like brand new.
don't
Right?
Yeah.
don't
Bad.
I actually think that movie was written by AI.
Oh yeah,
Like
it's
It
I
like
might have
think
been.
5.7 on IMDb.
they put
One
some
of those
prompts
Netflix
in that
originals.
was like make an
Yeah.
action movie with this and this and this and then they spit it out. It was awful. And I remember watching it saying like this is the worst thing I've watched and I love Tom Hardy. Like usually
Yeah.
a terrible movie
Yeah.
with Tom Hardy gets bumped up a notch for me. This one did
Sure.
not.
Yeah.
It was objectively terrible. Dodds hated it too, but yeah, it's what it just goes back to that like did somebody
Well,
who's never watched a movie watch this or write this?
yeah.
And then I started thinking like no, they just typed in like action movie, male protagonist,
Hmm.
separated from wife because that never comes up again in the movie, right? Like that beginning of the movie and the entire thing
Yeah.
is about his kid, and then at the end you never hear about him reconciling with his kid. Like it was so bad. So
Yeah.
that's
What got me was the machine pistol with no extended mag that literally put out at least 60 rounds with no
ooh,
like it was a continuous shot. It wasn't even like, oh, I'll pretend and give you the give you the benefit of the doubt. Nah.
no, no, and it's just comes back to people. Either that was written by AI or by somebody who's never watched an action movie, and it's actually why I won't watch the new Captain America. It has nothing to do with anything other than I looked at the previews and went, nah.
Well, the worst part about that is they put the Red Hulk in the trailer for the movie. The Red
Why?
Hulk was the denouement of the movie. You spoiled your own movie with the trailer,
Yeah,
and
I remember seeing.
that pissed me off.
And the fucking jet scene couldn't have gone on any goddamn longer than it did. Like it was just like, oh, it was
Yeah,
never
yeah,
ending.
and like I don't care if you have a cool set of arm. Like he doesn't have superpowers, so when he punches an anti-ship torpedo, he's going to be vaporized. Like,
Yeah, but then they also do like Spider-Man punching Doctor Octopus. Like Doctor Octopus is still
mhm,
just a man, and Spider-Man
mhm,
is
right?
still super powered strength. So
Yeah,
like he punches him in the face, and Doctor Octopus is like, ugh. And I'm like,
yeah.
no, like you would have shattered his skull.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if he
Right?
wasn't pulling his punches, you're absolutely right. Because like you remember that scene in Civil War where Spider-Man catches the Winter Soldier's bionic arm, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool, you have a metal arm, which like, hey, that metal arm has been jacking up people all movie.
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
that was probably the most true part. Because
yeah,
Spider-Man then kicking you in the face would flatten you. Like
yeah, yeah.
so
It'd be much similar to the boys, right? If we
yeah.
had real superheroes.
That's legitimately what the world would be. If there were real fucking superheroes, it would be the boys. Like that's the world we would be in. It'd
So
be
let's
some. Yep.
keep going on this vein. I'm gonna go with the Mount Rushmore of your favorite Marvel movie Easter eggs.
Oh, favorite Marvel movie Easter eggs?
Yeah.
It's
Man,
gonna be a
that's
tough. It's gonna be hard to think of. I think.
yeah. It's got to be stuff that comes from the first phase. It's got to be the appearance of Samuel Jackson at the end of Iron Man. Um,
That's a good one.
yeah,
Were
that's
you in a
like
theater for that one?
yes, yeah,
And
yeah.
the
Actually,
crowd standing up and screaming.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Really, like really all almost trying to think of a movie like there wasn't that much screaming and stuff going on for like Thor, for example. Back in the day, but like Captain America was when the movies first started really getting the hype, right?
Yeah, that was the
Cap and
first
then
phase of the MCU, yeah.
yeah, and then Avengers and whatnot. Man, I feel like I'm just gonna blank on other things to put on there though. Like seeing Cap's shield for the first time. Really, like Captain America, First Avenger had a lot of those kind of projections, right? They had the obviously the cosmic cube. I don't know. I'm not gonna have a good Mount Rushmore for this. It's too specific.
All right
I
then.
could give you. How about this? How about my Mount Rushmore favorite scenes? I could maybe
Okay.
do that.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
that.
you've got Cap getting the hammer at the end of Endgame, right?
Yep.
So that's one.
That took 3 movies.
Oh yeah, every time you thought it was coming again, right? Actually, it's probably just going to end up being a Mount Rushmore Cap stuff. So
We hear you
on
are a
your
big
left has
Cap.
got to be in there. Yeah. When he gets in the elevator and he goes, "Does anyone want to get out?" That's on there. And yeah, I guess the last one's got to be, "We'll do that together," right? Sorry, that was Cap when talking to Tony, and they said, "Hey, what if we fail?" Tony says, "Hey, what if we fail?" And Cap says, "Well, we'll do that together too." So this has got to be my top four
Oh, okay, yeah.
Marvel cinematic movie. But yeah, it ended up being top four Cap, I guess.
So not when he shows up in the Outworld in Deadpool 3.
Oh,
He's like
yeah,
oh,
that was.
he's like a warm mouth hug.
You know what? To be fair, that entire movie was an Easter egg.
That's
He's gonna
factual.
say it. He's
That
gonna
was
say
that
it.
was a great cinematic moment.
It really
Having
was.
him come in as Johnny Flame, yeah,
I was by myself in the theater and I was just like, oh my god, it's actually him. Oh,
yeah,
and he's got the blue on and everything, and he does the flame
yeah,
on, and I was like, yes, thank you
yeah.
so much for that. All
That,
right,
that, that was perfect. Yeah.
yeah, that movie was also like they've done that so many times, like with this whole reset of
Hmm.
the multiverse,
But
because like
yeah,
they did
especially with
it.
the X-Men. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the X-Men, those movies, as far as I'm concerned, don't need to exist anymore. And then they did it with Flashpoint, which wasn't a real Flashpoint for some reason, because that's not how Flashpoint actually went. And then they did it with another Marvel movie. It doesn't matter. But like, I think it's enough. Like, I think like it's one thing that we're all tired of the multiverse. I think we're now tired of the multiverse being reset. I think we're all done
Yeah.
with that. And like I
Yeah.
said, the only good part of the last Venom movie was him saying, "I'm sick of this multiverse shit." It was the first 30 seconds of the movie, and then the rest of the movie
Yeah.
was terrible.
Yeah. I'm optimistic for Fantastic Four. I thought Thunderbolts set up some stuff that could potentially
I gotta
produce.
watch
So
that still.
Yeah, I'll watch
yeah,
Thunderbolts, but
yeah.
I have yet to watch a good Fantastic Four movie.
There's been
I
so
I
many.
agree. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm optimistic. Actually, I told my buddy Ricky and Kyle, like I said, if Fantastic Four doesn't hit, I think I'm going to be done with the Marvel because I don't go to the theaters a whole lot anymore anyway.
Yeah.
And all the movies that have been like Black Widow was a letdown. So yeah, but I'm optimistic. I think Fantastic Four is going to
I don't have faith, but
hit.
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next, Keith?
Unpaid or underrated, I believe, unless we missed anything that I think
No,
we
I've
can hit a
been
bunch of it.
I've been working on this unpaid and underrated all
Yeah.
day.
All right, there, Big Derek. So, if you're not familiar with this game, it's called Unpaid or Underrated. Similar to, some amateurs over there that do a little overrated or underrated. This is the much improved, vastly different, completely original, unpaid or underrated. So, going to give you a topic and you just gonna use your druthers, explain us why you picked it being underrated, which is awesome, or why it's unpaid, which is not so great because no one wants to be unpaid. So, Joey put all the work in these notes, and I'm probably going to just pick three that I just randomly pulled out of myself. So,
Yeah, so for the record, we started with 0 and I think I
no.
ended up with like 10 to 15. Like just going through
Oh
the
yeah.
notes and picking stuff
We'll
out.
go with we'll let his how long-winded he is dictate how many we go through.
This would
But I
be
got
this honestly, this might be one of my what do you call it? Like my best work of art. I think I'm gonna screenshot this and send it to you, Derek, because like I've
Magnus
been
Opus.
Okay.
yeah, like normally I put like some effort and picking through and adding to it as we talk, but I had all of these ready
Okay.
before we even started talking. So
I, so I know I have my druthers, but would it be better to try and get through a few, or would you like just see how it goes? I
let's
guess.
just see how it goes. Because Keith likes to
Okay.
ask 3, and then sometimes I'm like, no, let's go like ask two more, like go crazy.
Yeah,
It'll
no, if
depending
we
on your
go,
answers.
yeah, if you're quick, I can answer a couple more. Because like I said,
Okay.
Joey added a bunch, and then I pulled three of stuff we didn't talk about or stuff that I personally know about you. All right,
Okay.
so we had mentioned Captain America a lot. So if you're not familiar with
Yep.
this, then we can go right past it. But you're in your late 30s, right? Give or take.
Yep.
So
Yep.
so you would
38.
have,
Yep.
as a kid, you might have seen this on like TV at some point or rented it at the movie store. The 1990 movie Captain America, the
Hmm.
IMDb rated like 3.8 Captain America that I remember watching as a kid and thinking it was like, oh, this is awesome movie. And then
Uh-huh.
watching it as an adult going, my God, this is horrendous. So unpaid or underrated, the 1990 Captain America movie.
I'm gonna go unpaid. I haven't seen it. The
Okay.
reason I haven't seen it is because back in the '90s, when you go to Blockbuster like you did as a kid, right? I remember seeing the cover and wanting it, and then my parents said basically, "No, we're gonna do something else," and never went back to it. And then, like as an adult, I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna go find that Captain America movie." I found a clip online, and it looks so bad. I was like,
It is bad.
"Never mind."
I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
I remember watching it as a kid, and then I streamed it the other day just on like some bootleg site, and I was like, "This is horrible." Like I watched
Yeah,
this as a kid and thought it was good. Like it was not good.
yeah.
All right, so good answer. Unpaid or underrated? Having a notebook full of notes,
Oh, that is
handwritten.
underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And how many
underrated.
notes have you taken during this podcast?
One, two, three.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
That makes me really happy
well,
to hear.
yeah. For whatever reason, my brain just processes stuff better when I can get it. Like it gets all jumbled up in there, and then when I get it down on paper, it sticks.
Hmm.
And it helps me organize and feel a little de-stressed. So yeah, I'm definitely known in the fire department, especially for carrying around notebooks. And I have lists on lists, and some of that stuff sticks, and some of it times I'm just putting it down so I can forget it and move on to something else I actually have to do. Yeah, definitely underrated. I think more well, yeah, it's a very helpful tool to help organize your day and organize your thought.
Nice, nice, good answer. I dig that. Unpaid or underrated? The Arnold, Columbus, Ohio. The Arnold.
Ooh,
Was that your first time this year?
that was my first time. I'm gonna say it's underrated. Um, the expo is definitely unpaid,
Yes.
but the shows are so good. Like seeing like the live powerlifting going, walking and seeing some of the arm lifting and the arm wrestling and just all the different events going on around the perimeter. It was so awesome. It makes up for anything for the expo. Expo was just like way too crowded for me. It's too much hustling going on. People
Hmm.
waiting 45 minutes for a rain energy drink for some reason. But
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple of those, but like I would only go when the line was like 10 people or
yeah,
less. And that was
yeah.
just
I
because I
mean, I
was
get that. Yeah.
dying of not having caffeine for hours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I,
I don't
I
think
I
I
get that. It was just like it was interesting. Yeah.
what were you there just one day? Because like I know we had dinner together, but like I don't remember seeing
Uh-huh.
you at the expo hardly. I did.
Yeah. So I'm gonna blame the Arnold on that. So I really wanted to see the Strongman, and because I wanted to make sure I got a good seat or whatever, I just bought a ticket for that. Didn't
Mhm.
realize that I wouldn't have been able to see it if I hadn't bought the ticket. So I'm glad I
Yeah.
did that. So I pretty much just hung out in the Strongman thing, and then when they were
Gotcha.
breaking up and down from events, I would wander through the expo. Um, wh- the one day I got in early, I kind of did like two laps around the expo before anyone got in there
Hmm.
because I didn't realize that was a thing. People like running to booths to get samples of stuff, and so I kind of walked around, saw what they had. I was like, okay, well, nothing I really feel compelled to bring home with me. I wasn't like shopping for weights or anything. So
Cool beans. But yeah, no,
yeah,
we had a good dinner that night. How far did you make it in the bar hopping crowd before you? Because I don't think you made it back. Because like we
no,
left the Eagle and went to like fucking nine places and basically did
yeah,
nothing, and then went back to the
yeah.
fucking Eagle for like another 2 hours. I don't think you made it back to the Eagle with us.
No, when I kind of knew like it'd been a long couple days, and I had a long drive home the next day. It's like 8 hours or so.
Oh,
So I kind of knew I didn't really want to stay out too late. And just like I've been going to admin's been nice because I've sleep much better, and so now I'm actually much more acutely aware of even like one or two drinks how much that messes with my sleep.
hmm.
So I kind of pick and choose my fights there. So I myself, Big Ryan, and I'm blanking on the other crew that was with us. We all three of us just kind of Irish goodbye at the first bar. When everyone was getting their ID checked, we just kind of kept
Yeah.
walking. And then
That's
later on,
funny.
we heard that y'all didn't have the best luck finding a
No,
spot.
we
But
went to so many
yeah,
places. It was funny. Listen
yeah,
to the so if you know now that listen to the Arnold recap episode because you'd probably appreciate that
okay,
because you were there. So that'd be a good one
yeah,
to
yeah.
cherry pick to catch up on our backlog. All right, I'll do a fourth wild card here. Unpaid or underrated, Fire Marshal Bill. Are you
Fire.
familiar with the Jim Carrey
Let
character
me show
from?
you something.
Oh
You're not
no,
familiar with
I'm
it?
not.
Oh
Okay, then
no,
you're
okay.
good. Never. That's
Okay,
wild that
all
like that
right.
hasn't like you would think that would have been like a reel somewhere that firefighters share to each other because that was it wasn't Mad TV. It was
That
what
was in
was the
Living Color.
yeah that I knew it was I couldn't think of what it was it was on a
Gotcha.
weird cable channel only my grandparents had when I was a kid so like
Yeah,
I only saw it when I was at my grandparents in the summer like hanging out for the weekend or something so but yeah, he
I
was just
gotcha.
a wild character. Like look up a File Marshal Bill just for like
Okay,
the
like he
make it a note.
yeah,
it,
it
it's
was Jim Carrey. He would suck his lips back so his teeth were showing because he was all covered in burns.
Uh-huh.
And he would like go to schools and light himself on fire to show you how dangerous fire was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that let me show you something comes
Oh,
from.
all right. And now with that, I'll hand it off.
That was a good one. I wish I had done that one and I wish I'd gone far. Unpaid or underrated energy drinks.
unpaid. Uh, there's a lot of synthetic junk inside of energy drinks. So I just like my caffeine plain, unadulterated. So I do a caffeinated gum if I need caffeine. Yeah, I just feel like the energy drinks,
And that's a
you get a
thing.
little too dependent on them. What's
Yeah.
that?
I
So
guess that's a thing.
um, technically, studies have proven that the fastest and most efficient way of caffeine absorption is through the salival
Buccal.
glands.
Yeah. Okay.
So like drinking it or snorting it or anything else is not as efficient as absorbing it through the salival glands, which is why gum does make the most sense. Paste is technically like the most effective, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just so
Maybe that's why I
funny.
like it so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
It
it's
just
so quick and
it
so fast and so
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just funny, like I don't want the synthetic stuff. I want the hardest method possible.
Exactly. Exactly. I do notice like I'll only chew it for like 5 maybe 10 minutes tops.
Yeah.
Because if I chew it for longer than that, I think it hits so fast that it starts making me nauseous. So I'll just
Yep.
chew it for a little bit and spit it out.
All right. Unpaid or underrated sumo deadlifts.
Sumo deadlifts are definitely underrated. Um, at the end of the day, you still have to pull the weight off the ground in a position that's mechanically advantageous to you, right?
Mhm.
So for some people, that's a conventional. For some people, that's a sumo. Yeah, I support the sumo deadlift. Now, that being said, I don't sumo deadlift. I don't think my body's really built for it. I feel much better with conventional deadlift.
That's the correct
Just
answer too.
yeah.
I
So like
love it.
the guy that him and I go back and forth on this all the time. And he's like so like, anti sumo and all that to the point where it's just over the top. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
in a good spirited way. We give each other shit every time. Neither one of us pulls sumo, and we take opposite sides of the argument.
Joey calls that bozo shit.
A little bit.
Exactly.
Because I also like to be like, oh, what did I say the other day? Like some guy came up to me and he's like, how much do you leg press? And I went
Oh,
zero because
God.
I said
Who the
zero
fuck
because I'm
cares?
not a bitch. And he was just like, what? What? And in my head, I was like, actually, like, do whatever is the best method of resistance training you can do. However, this is the funnier answer. So I'm going to go with this
Yeah.
one, right? I got him all riled up, right? Like, I don't leg press because I'm not a bitch. Like, I just do deadlifts and squats like a normal
Yeah.
person. And just to
Yeah.
see him get all flustered. And then I was like, dude, I'm messing with you. Like, I don't actually care. Whatever
Mm.
you do is good for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Unpaid or underrated email signatures.
Unpaid. Yeah,
Fucking
no one
right.
cares about all the letters after your name. Just put your name, and if you need to put your contact info, yeah, put it in there. But I don't leave it in there because I don't want you to call me. If I
Yeah.
give you my number, it's because I'm okay receiving your call.
Can I tell you something that my work has
Sure.
done? And I don't talk about work very often on here, but this is one of the most frustrating things I've ever experienced. My work demands that I put my email address in my email signature.
Yeah, a lot of places do
That's
that.
awesome.
And I just simply went, why? And they
Yeah.
were like, so if you email somebody, they have your email. And I was like, think about that for a second. Like, like legitimately think about that response. If I
Yeah.
email somebody, they can just hit reply. They
Yeah.
don't need a link to my email signature in the email I send them. And I have
Right.
actually adamantly refused. No matter what they tell me, I've just been like, I'm not going to do that. I'll do anything else you tell me. I will not put my email address in my email signature.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not a 70-year-old person that like doesn't grasp that. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So I put that one in there because I also wrote in brackets, I also fucking hate these. So
Yeah. Awesome.
all right, I guess we're going rapid fire here. Unpaid or underrated, Tacoma FD.
uh, is that a TV show?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Broken Lizard, the guys
Uh,
that did Beer Fest and Super Troopers.
that's
They
unpaid.
okay, so you
No,
haven't seen it?
yeah, no. I love Super Troopers, so
Yeah.
it's probably pretty. It's probably funny. I don't watch a lot of. I don't want to watch a lot of that kind of TV.
No, that's
Um,
fair, but now I kind of think you
yeah,
might have to because it is the same
yeah,
guys, but they
yeah,
made a
yeah.
show about a fire department.
You know what? That is probably more realistic. Like just knowing it's those guys, that's probably more realistic to a fire department than like Chicago FD, which is just utter nonsense, right?
Well, I saw the term probie in here and I was like, I only know
Uh-huh.
that phrase because of Tacoma FD.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
submitted that word and I was like,
yeah.
I'm only
Proby, dude.
familiar with that because of yeah. So all
Yeah.
right. Last but not least, unpaid or underrated, pickled eggs.
Pickled eggs. Ooh, underrated.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, that nice brine solution gives them like a little bit more texture when you're having them. And like you like pickles anyway, right? So it's almost just having like a salted hard-boiled egg. They keep forever, so yeah, underrated.
Little salt and pepper
Yeah.
down the
Oh yeah.
hatch, boys. All
Yeah.
right. Well,
High protein, easy.
you passed
Yeah.
unpaid and
Sorry.
underrated. You did it.
We can air the
Yay! Thank
episode.
you. Finally, it publishes.
All right. Do you have anything that you want to ask us or any games you want to play? If not, don't stress. Don't worry about it.
The only thing that kind of jumped out to me as we were talking, this one is for Keith. Keith, you mentioned we were talking about some barbells earlier. You were talking about the lead FTS and just wish you
Hmm.
had gone a little bit more into that. What is a barbell that either A, your favorite barbell you have and why, or B, that the holy grail, the one you're looking for that would be like, oh yeah, that's the one I'm trying to get.
It's the Rogue Ohio bar. He misses it so much.
The Ohio deadlift. Yeah, the Ohio deadlift bar. No, God, I hate that bar. I like. I don't really have a holy like. I at one point I thought getting a York Power Bar was gonna be the holy grail, just because it's like it's vintage, solely, and like York made like millions, well, tens of thousands of Olympic bars with no center or knurling that like everyone could go buy for $100 on Marketplace if you wait long enough. But the Power
Uh-huh.
Bar, there's like 1/100th maybe of them out there versus the other,
Okay.
maybe 1/5. Like I don't know, it's like for every 100 I see of the one, I see one of the other basically. So I ended up
Yeah.
getting one, but the knurling is dog shit on it, so it's like it's like the dullest slickest bar. And I don't know
Uh,
if they're all like that or it's just mine. Like I know they're all passive, but I don't know if they're all as passive as mine. But like
yeah.
what I thought that was going to be the holy grail, and it was just kind of anticlimactic. As far as my favorite,
Oh,
I have some bars. Like it's kind of a more of those one of those things. Like I don't have a lot of my original bars because I've upgraded everything to like different colors or different finishes. So like it's that double edged sort of like I have better bars now, but I don't have the original bars. So it's kind of like if I look at my and it wouldn't even be something I would think about if I didn't have my spreadsheets, because like on my spreadsheet I have like the year of purchase. So like I have all these
mhm.
like I've had a gym since 2015, but then like all these bars are from like 18, 19, 20, 21. So it looks like I didn't have any bars until then, when in reality
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
had like just inferior versions of it. But I did end up using. I'm probably going to end. It'll probably end up back in my collection at some point because I sold my buddy an Ohio Power Bar and like black zinc like 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and like I actually used it to deadlift a couple months ago, like at his garage gym. So kind of
Oh,
came
cool.
full circle with that. So that's like the most nostalgia bar probably because that's the one that was like the first bar that I bought that just wasn't a shitty cap, like hex bolt bar.
Right,
And it's still
right,
like
right.
with a friend still has it. But my favorite bar, like if I don't know, the bar that I wouldn't would have I'd have a hard time not having would be my Duffalo bar, just because I can do just being able to squat low bar without all that extra stress on the joints. If you've never used a bow bar, especially with your shoulder, so the SSB
Okay.
is great, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, with a home gym, it's like unless you kind of there's Duffalo bar just got bought by someone else, so they're gonna start making it again. But really, there's like a 20
Okay.
other bars that are similar enough that you could buy that. But like, it allows you to still lower high bar, but it just like it lowers your arm positioning by like 3 or 4 inches basically. So
Okay.
your elbows are a lot closer to your lats than they are like farther back, essentially. Like you don't have to.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just like if you have a fucked up shoulder, which you do, it could be something to look
Yeah.
into. But that's definitely the
Okay.
bar that I would like outside of like a straight bar. That's the bar that like I use the most. But as far as like I don't know,
Nice.
but I really think that getting that nostalgia bar back from my buddy, I might have to trade him something or buy something. But then it would just be like, well, now I have 3 Ohio Power bars, and they're not, because I have 2 stainless steel ones, so those are my daily drivers. Like, and that's the one that everyone kind of gravitates to. So I don't know. I got a lot of bars,
Okay.
but
Awesome. Yeah.
not as many
Yeah.
as
For
Dave,
sure.
not as many as Dave Tate. But I think I only have a couple less than Tanner. A couple dozen probably. I
Yeah.
got
Yeah. Some of the pictures I've seen in your gym, like you've got a lot of stuff and like a lot of plates and all that. But yeah.
we try. Well, next time you're up here, come grab a lift.
All right. Yeah. Definitely.
It's always open. Free day passes to crew, and anyone that drove more than an hour gets to sign the banner.
Hell yeah. All right.
Or if it's your second visit, you get to if you're local and it's your second visit, you get to sign the banner. Or if you drove more than an hour, you get to sign the banner. That's the rules.
Did I sign
Okay.
the
Yeah, I
banner?
like that.
You did. Yep, you're on there.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
All right. Well, if that's all you've got for us, we can start rounding out this
Indeed.
Okay. Awesome.
this game.
All right, affiliates. Let's hit them with some links. All right, Obsidian, Barbell Rescue, Plate Snacks, Home Gym Con, Belt Fed Strength, Freedom Fitness Equipment, and apparel from the Strength Co. Go ahead and do yourself a favor and us a favor and use code unpaid at all those locations. Help you save you a little bit of money. Maybe get, I would say we could get Nate in that speedboat, but I don't think that fucker's going anywhere soon, and I need boats. Like I don't. I think
He might be at the bottom of a lake.
I think he already took his last boat ride. I think him and Tom already went out to. Would that be Lake? Where are they on? Are they in Erie? Where are they? It's got to be
probably
Erie,
Lake
right?
Erie.
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, it is Lake Erie. I think Nate is swimming with the fishes in Lake Erie, and Tom is just kind of carrying on the facade that Nate's still a thing. So yeah, code unpaid to help resurrect Nate and Big Derek. Where we're gonna find you at?
At G Machine on Instagram is probably the easiest, or catch me on the Discord. That's where all the crew is. So stalking around on there. So
There you go. Big Joey, where you at?
Joey_Malesko, MLECZKO. Visit my page. You can access all of our links. I actually added all of those to my link tree and some of my own personal ones. Don't want to really announce those here, but if you're listening, you probably already know. Big partnership I announced about a week and a half ago. And yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
This light, I'm going to say, like you guys have been watching me squint and like fidget with this thing. This thing has been in my eyes. I don't know if it's my allergies or not. I've been like out of it half of this time because I can't get this light out of my eyes.
Yeah, I'm pretty content with having my lights off and just being a floating head on the screen.
Yeah, but like this is what I would look like if I turn the lights off. This is me right now. Like this is my podcast.
I mean, that's fucking
awesome.
creepy. No,
like I look like a horror movie.
A couple lasers, dude. That's awesome.
That's really fucking creepy. Like I'm gonna have to pull that clip from the recording because that was just a floating. Those are like beady eyes.
It was beady eyes, teeth, and a mustache. Like that's all that was.
I mean, we might see that at the Lift Our Live Disney 3, right?
Yeah. You hope not.
Creepy. That was so creepy.
Like
yeah, that at the foot of your bed will fucking make you kick something.
Yeah, so that
that would freak you out.
It's just been in my eyeballs the whole time. It's been awful.
Well,
so I apologize if I've been kind of like staring at it and like trying not to look at it. It's nothing to do with the podcast.
Well, something possibly a little more appealing to put in your eyeballs, unpaid and underrated podcast on Instagram, unpaid intern podcast website, and we got a YouTube. Go fight Carp for Race Your First Comment. And until then, we'll see you next Tuesday. I think we tried to get into. I wish we could have got some episodes like go a lot more personal and deeper and poop story, and it just all depends. But
the poop stories are all you, and the more we talk about them, the more I want to be like, I don't care. I genuinely don't care about poop stories.
They're great.
No, I thought it was great. I thought we hit a wide range of topics. We talked lifting, we talked comics. I mean, yeah, I
I
thought
had
it was good.
I avoided a poop story question too. I was someone
Well,
a fellow firefighter, Adam, and
yeah,
there's a lot of firefighters in New York that I know.
How
But like the two
many fires in
crew.
New York? And New
Well, no,
York is
the
so big, right?
like
Like you need that many fire departments to
well, no,
get
like
to all of it.
so the two
yeah,
guys and the two guys I know from Albany are both firefighters. And they're both crew.
okay,
So one of the ones that he basically Adam wanted to know. I think it was your funniest probie story or most embarrassing probie story, and the other one was like best patient shit story or something like that. And I was like, I really don't want to get
yeah,
because I didn't really want to have you like blow someone out and be like, yeah, this one guy shit his pants on the gurney. Like we don't that wouldn't have been as funny,
yeah.
but that was definitely ass, and I withheld.
Yeah, yeah. I guess poop stories aren't the best. I will say, if you had asked, there's a guy I went to recruit school with, and he's no longer with the fire department. But he was crazy. But he was a Navy diver, and he claims that like pooping yourself is normal for the Navy divers because they're in their wetsuits all day. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Well, he pooped himself multiple times during the academy when like we're just doing a drill, and like the instructor would let you go inside and use the bathroom. And he would just shit himself. And we're like, hey man, that's not cool. Stop doing that. He was fucking
Dang.
weird, man.
That is
Yeah, he was actually never in the Navy.
Yeah,
It was just
he
an
might not
excuse
have
to shit
been.
himself. Yeah. Honk honk.